Hello guys, Coach here or Kocher in German. Today we are reacting to how to turn your passion and most ambitious goals into a career, Harry Mack and Lewis Howes. This got sent in from Mombasa, Patreon of mine, and thanks, because I really wanted to expand myself into not just music. I want to react to all the stuff that's out there. Yeah, I don't want to talk too much. This video is 1 hour and 20 minutes long, so I will probably cut this into multiple videos. So yeah, that's it. Okay, let's freaking go.
To each their own, but I'm in my zone, and I'm all by myself. I am not no clone. I'm here with Lewis Howes on the School of Greatness. We all about the real, never kicking no fakeness. Y'all know I got the rhymes that'll leave them shook. It's H. Mack off the brain, never written in books. Let's go.
You gotta have a dream.
The School of Greatness.
Really? Yeah.
Please welcome Lewis Howes.
So you want to give me 3 words then?
Sure, yeah, give me 3.
Lewis Howes, host of the School of Greatness. I have to say, I have never heard of this man. So I cannot really say anything about him.
3 words. Or whatever you are more comfortable with. You can either give me 3 at the top, or you can just lob them to me as we go.
As we go?
Just as many as you want.
Jeez, I'll give you 3 at the top.
Okay, let's do that.
I don't know if I'm going to be that creative. I'm looking at Muhammad Ali. So does that count as 1 word?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Muhammad Ali.
Yes.
Ohio.
Ohio, got it.
And love.
Yes. Yes. All right. Muhammad Ali, Ohio, and love. Those are the 3 words. We rolling?
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah. Come on. Yeah.
Instantly, I love it because that's pretty much that reminds me of me freestyling with my little bro, with my brother. Like we were sitting there. Then he was giving some words or some beats that we just wanna. It's just like so old school, like just me and my dude, and my bro, vibing, and that's pretty much the same scenario here. Of course, there are more people in the background, but the vibe is the same.
You go. Come on. Yeah. Check. Look. H. Mack off the top. I'm kicking the raw free like I'm swinging in the ring with Muhammad Ali. Yeah. I got the truth inside. I gotta state this. Focus on Muhammad Ali. We talking greatness. It's H. Mack when I spit. I'm staying locked in. My lyrics swing kinda like if I was boxing. I make it happen. I'ma be a master today. I'll be the greatest like Cassius Clay. And speaking of Clay, I'ma mold these rhymes. I mold your brain. Every time I'm holding mine, I make it happen. H. Mack, I blow your mind with the verse. Word to Cassius Clay, cause I built this from the earth. Yeah, I make it happen, y'all know what I'm about. H. Mack getting busy when I'm all up on my route. Yeah, I'm coming off the tip with these fly flows. I rock my shows from LA to Ohio. Anywhere we at, these mics, bro, get thrown down. I might have to rock a show up in your hometown. It's H. Mack, you know I got the truest style. I mean, I'm on the School of Greatness with Lewis Howes. All up in it, yo, we made it on the podcast. H. Mack coming off the top with the raw blast, the lyrics and information, win by every indication. Yeah, about to get the TV show with syndication. Every obstacle we quick to rise above. And when I see another human being, I don't judge. I know we struggle, and that's when push comes to shove. So I spit it from my heart, and I represent love. I know for people all around the planet, it ain't easy, so I'd rather try to channel that L-O-V-E. Yeah, y'all know I'm trying to help you understand. To anyone low, I'ma reach out my hand, knowing I can't win unless everybody's winning. I wish I had that same mindset from the beginning. It takes time, but over time, while learning these lessons, I expanded my mind. We call that progression. It's love from the heart, love from the soul, love for these rhymes, love for these flows, and I love to control the mic that I hold. Rather have love for the soul than love for the platinum, love for the watch, love for the gold. It's not about the material. I be getting lyrical, Grand Imperial, H. Mack working a miracle. Y'all know I had to come through right now. School of Greatness, Harry Mack, Lewis Howes.
Oh, snap!
Yeah, it's always insane. It's just insane.
What's happening, man? Wow, holy cow.
Thank you, man.
Amazing. Oh, man, that's exciting.
Yes, sir.
The energy that you have when you do that and the anticipation, It got me like a child. You know, I feel like a little kid just
Yeah.
watching you, man.
Yeah, that's what freestyling does, man.
Yeah, I think that's true. Like, if you start freestyling or if you start rapping for yourself, you will always get more hyped than you are doing it in front of people, I think. But when you start to bring this out in front of people, which I personally only did like for a few people or for you right now, in my subspecials or so, I got way more used to it right now, or even in the stream. Then it's just for me it's addicting. Like when I watch, I don't know if it's the same for you when I do it, but when I watch someone freestyle and he is totally in his passions right there, I think that's just one of the most addicting things pretty much that I always want to see again and again and again and again, because it's never the same, but it's always entertaining. It's just pure love for the art in this moment, and I just love it. And I think that's every freestyle rapper or everyone that enjoys freestyle rap agrees, I think.
And it helps everybody access their inner child.
Dude, Harry Mack is in the house.
We're
now.
here, man.
Welcome to the School of Greatness.
Yeah, and the inner child, the access to the inner child, yeah, definitely. When you kick like a really nice line, or like for insane good bars, and maybe you're also pronouncing them on the right spot and also flowing like crazy, the people around you will go like, oh boy, shit! Like that's the thing that just catches me.
Thank you so much for having me,
I'm
man.
so excited about this, man. I discovered you a few months back from, I think, TikTok, where your videos were going viral. And I was instantly captivated by how someone would throw you a word and you would do a whole song about.
Yeah, I saw that on TikTok as well, that he went viral there. I always skipped them because I want to react to them. So yeah, I never saw a TikTok of him.
The word, and then tie it into them as well. Talk about the way they look and their hat and their shoes and the whatever, their friends and what's happening around them.
Yeah.
And you'd blow their minds.
Yeah.
And we were just having a conversation before we started about your experience of how you got here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fascinating because you weren't always a professional freestyler. You were a jazz drummer from USC that was making $50 a gig.
Yeah.
And some chicken nuggets afterwards for free.
If I was lucky.
For many years. How long were you doing the jazz drumming before you got into freestyle rapping?
Well, I started playing the drums at the same time that I started rapping. They both came into my world when I was about 10 years old.
Okay.
And I started performing both as a drummer and a rapper at some point in middle school.
Okay.
So I did like my first professional jazz gig at a farmer's market in Portland, Oregon, where I'm from. I was part of like a community, youth jazz band up in Portland. And we got a gig. I don't know if it paid now that I think about it. Maybe I can't call it a professional gig, but I was 13 years old, we played out at a farmer's market. And then simultaneously I was rapping in.
I mean, even if you are not getting paid in such a young age, or not even in such a young age, if you have the opportunity to play your stuff in front of a crowd, so you get known, or people hear what you are doing and you get the response of them, I think that's also pretty much a professional gig. Okay, professional gigs are probably paid, but you know what I mean? It's still, I would count it, I would say.
In a group that I had that started back when I was 11 or 12 years old with my best friends in middle school called State of Mind.
A rap group.
That's
in
right.
Middle school.
Yes, yes.
Now I'm curious, like, how do you create confidence within yourself to do something that maybe you weren't supposed to be doing, freestyle rapping, right?
Yeah.
And to do this in public for strangers a lot. Like, how do you get the confidence?
Yeah.
Which I think is one of the key things that a lot of people are missing in life in general.
That's me. I don't have any confidence in myself. I mean, it got way better since I have this channel. Which is totally weird, right? Like in my normal life, in my real life, I'm always a funny dude, like that makes jokes, entertains when you are on a party. I'm the one telling the stories, cracking jokes, like all the stuff, making a lot of fun about myself and others as well, but mostly about myself. But here's the thing, right? I don't care. I just don't care if that's just comedy, pretty much, like entertaining on a low level that doesn't hit me emotionally. But music or freestyle rapping or rap is just something that I really care about, which is really emotional for me because that drives me, and it rescued me pretty much, like 100%. It saved my life, which is just so cliche, pretty much, but it is true, and I just don't like to get judged about what I do, even so I think I'm kind of good. That is so weird. Like, look at this. I'm not capable of complimenting myself and saying that my art or my craft is good, pretty much. But back in the head, I think it is good, but I would never say it because I'm not 100% sure about it. And I kind of need the acknowledgement of people around me or like randoms, like in the internet, right? Which is hard because the moment you put it out in the internet, it's like most of the time it's not so good. Like, I got some shit in my life from the internet. Yeah, that's just so annoying because I really love music and I really like doing it. But on the other way, it's so hard to do stuff with music. Like, if you are not famous, no one will listen to your music besides like 1% of humanity, maybe. That gets the chance to see it. But like, also my friends will never, like, not all my friends, but a lot of friends or people that I know for a long time, when I show them my music, they will not even listen to it. Like, or when I make videos, like the video which I made was Life is Beautiful. That's just a video for me that I made for me to train my editing skills, but also it has a little bit of meaning. Like, it's a motivation to myself that life is beautiful. And no one cared, which is okay. I did it for me, but you know what I mean? So whenever you do something there where you put a lot of work in and a lot of soul and heart and nobody cares, it's harder than like, let's say I make a song and it gets like 100 views. That is more hurting, and 100 views and no comments and no likes. That hurts more than a video that gets 1 million views. I don't know, I never had. Like, let's say like 50,000 views. I have a video with 50,000 views. And there are bad comments in it. Because I don't care if you don't like my music, but at least you listen to it. You know what I mean? You gave me the chance. So fair enough. But most of the people don't care. They wouldn't even care if you gave them, like, do it now, here, please. I want to see a reaction. Oh no, I don't care. And that's so. Why should I be the one that has something to offer? And I don't know how to say it. It's really weird. I have no confidence in myself, and I need other people to hype me up, which is weird and not good. I know that.
Yeah, on how to have confidence to ask someone out on a date or to go for the career they want. But like, public speaking was the biggest fear for me growing up. And
I have to add again. I'm so sorry. But actually, I'm not, because that's, if you want to see the original video, watch the original video. Link is down in the description. I have no problems asking a woman out. No. I have no problems with that. We can chill all the time. Like, it's all nice. As long as I'm not getting feelings or emotions for this woman, like in a laugh way, it's all good. I'm fully chill, right? But when it when we get to know each other, right, like more. I can't speak today. And then it comes to the position where you are like for the first kiss. Maybe you say it to her, first time. You know what I mean? That's the time where I'm nervous. But that's normal. But the other times I'm not. But when it comes to music, I'm so freaking nervous. Like all the time, whenever I upload a video where I do my music, I'm so nervous. I'm sitting here like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. It's so weird.
You kind of have to do this to express your talent. How did you learn how to overcome the fear of humiliation, embarrassment, looking silly, messing up, and gain that confidence?
Man, that's a great question. I think one of the most important things for me is, confidence comes through experience. And I'm lucky in that I've been performing since I was a little kid. My first instrument was the violin. I started playing when I was 7 years old. And I'll always remember my first violin recital. And the reason I'll always remember it is because I didn't play, because instead I just cried the entire time because I was so scared.
How many people were there?
Oh, all the parents and some grandparents and aunts and uncles and
50 or 100 people.
Sure,
or something?
yeah, 50 or 100 people.
Was it a school recital? Was it?
It was this place called the Community Music Center in Portland, where I'm from. So that's where I took violin lessons, and every quarter or so, the teacher would put on a recital for all the students.
So the first time you didn't play anything, you just stood there and cried.
That was my first public performance opportunity. I cried the whole time. I didn't even actually make it onto the stage. I just sat with my parents and cried. And the teacher kind of looked over and was like, "It's not going to happen, right?" And my parents were like, "Yeah, it's probably not going to happen."
Yeah, I mean, okay, but that's not really what I think. Yeah, I'm. When I think back to my first ever musical appearance in front of anyone, I think that would be in school, like when I was like when I was like 13 or so, and I was in a school choir, and because of my deep voice I always had to do the basses, and which is really annoying because it's annoying because everyone is watching you. Like you are so, everyone else is singing in a high voice and you are there like do 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 do, you know what I mean? And everyone is seeing that you are that one voice, and you can hear that voice clearly out of anyone else. I got so red and I almost pissed myself. I was so nervous. I hated it. Oh fuck no.
At some point in middle school,
to ask someone out on a date, or was it
it was this place called the Community, to say that I wasn't some kind of born performer. The confidence that I have now wasn't gifted to me at birth by a long shot. It's something that I've worked through over time, and something that I still actually have to a large degree. When I perform today, I still get nervous before I go out on stage. Oh, definitely. When we go out in public, like you're mentioning, and I have a series called Gorilla Bars on YouTube, which is essentially me going out in public and rapping for strangers.
Love those.
And I get very nervous at the beginning of those days, less so now because I've done it so many times and I know that it's going to be okay. I have data that I can look back on. I have videos.
Results.
Exactly. I have results, and the videos exist online. And so at a certain point, you kind of have to look at that and say, okay, stop being crazy. It's going to be okay.
Right.
But definitely that sort of feeling of nervousness, the increased heart rate, the shortness of breath, the feeling like this is crazy. Why am I going to put myself out in these sort of situations? Why am I going to expose myself to this kind of judgment?
But here we have to say his fundament is so incredibly strong. Like his fundament of freestyle knowledge and word knowledge and rhyme knowledge is so damn big that if he's going out, this is probably not the problem that he's facing. Like he's not thinking about, can I do it? It's more like, what will people say? So, but I think most of the people are also scared of, can I do it? Because they don't have the fundament of him. Like, you know what I mean?
Is tough. One other thing that comes to mind, when you ask about how to sort of gain the confidence to do something that maybe, you're not necessarily supposed to be doing, or something that's destructive, like going up to strangers in a public place and saying, hey, let me rap for you. I feel very grateful that I started freestyling when I was a kid. I started when I was 10 or 11 years old. And at that age, I think, at least for me, and I think for a lot of people, we're just a lot less judgmental of ourselves.
You're less fearful.
Yeah.
Just goofing around, being silly, having
Yeah.
fun, trying stuff.
Exactly.
Right? Experimenting.
Right. Like for me as a 10-year-old, I'm in love with this music called hip hop.
I have to disagree on that. Like probably most people are like that, and I think in some way I'm also with them here. But kids are awful, man. Kids are really awful. Like fuck them. Like bro, I was always like one of the, I don't want to say it like that, but of the cool kids pretty much. But I never like mobbed anyone or so. I was also with the not so cool kids, which is totally dumb shit in my opinion. I was always hanging out with them and always hanging out with them. But in a way, I never showed really what I like to do. Like I was myself, but the music thing, I always hid from everyone. Like I was hiding it for so long that it took me 27 years of my life to come out and say to people, yeah, I do music. No one knew it. No one, not my family, not my friends, not my brother. No one knew that because I was always in this position. So, like, if I say I do rap and I like hip hop and I do rap and I freestyle rap, that I will get judged before I even showed them what I did. Like, you are getting the stamp on your head, like, he's a rapper. You know what I mean? And that's what I hated. I was so scared of that. Yeah. So I never could do that. And I always did it for myself alone.
You know, at a visceral level, I'm in love with the way that it makes me feel, you know, the low end of the bass and the drums smacking hard and this vocal that even though I don't necessarily understand what the rappers are talking about a lot of the time at that age, the way the message is delivered feels so important and it's just gripping. And so
Yeah.
I'm in love with this music.
Same goes for me. Like I love hip hop. I love it. I grew up with Sido most of the time. It's a German rapper, probably the most known rapper of Germany. He was my absolute like favorite rapper of all time, and whatever he was doing and putting out always mirrored pretty much what I was doing in my life at this moment. So it was perfect. This was my soul, and that's also why I sometimes sound a little bit like him when I flow. I know that. I can't even put that out. It's just he influenced me so hard that this is my natural way of freestyle rapping or rapping in all this time. Yeah, that's it, right?
And for me, as a 10-year-old at that time, it wasn't like some big decision that, oh, now I'm going to start rapping. It was like, yeah, of course I'm going to play around and try to rap, you know?
Sure.
I'm 10,
But
like,
for
and
myself.
that sounds super fun to me, you know, and I love this thing. And like, why would I not try my hand at it? You know, at that age, it's almost like finger painting when you're in preschool or something. No preschooler does a finger painting the whole time being like, oh, is this good? Right. Is anyone going to like this? Like, oh, I wonder, like, what's the point? Why am I even doing this? Maybe this isn't for me, you know? No preschooler is doing that while they're finger painting. They're just getting messy and having fun being creative.
Right.
And so I think for anybody at any age, you know, because somebody might be listening to this and saying, well, that's great, but I didn't start when I was 10, you know, and I've done a lot of teaching, both drum lessons and working with freestylers and aspiring rappers. Yeah, I've taught a lot of private lessons and also done some group stuff in schools. And but when I'm working with people who are a little older, maybe in their 20s or 30s or even older than that, I think one really important thing to keep in mind is, as much as possible, if you can try to channel that inner child when you're practicing and when you're in the beginning, when you're sort of getting comfortable with this idea of doing something that feels crazy, like doing a freestyle, your first ever freestyle. If you can take the pressure off and not judge it and start finger painting, make it like finger painting. Do something bad on purpose. You know what I mean? Don't try to be good. Make a sound.
Why do you think it's so hard for people to be bad on purpose?
I think as we get
Okay, that's another question directly. So yeah, I totally agree with that. Obviously, it's like this is like the art of channeling your inner child pretty much starts with freestyling in this context here. And I think that's really important that you just do it and you will get better with time. But even if you're good, let's say I'm pretty good with flow, and I think I'm also good at freestyle rapping. But whenever I do it, there's always this time where I sometimes go fully crazy. Like, it's so weird. If you would watch me in this moment, you would say, yo, he took drugs or so. I don't know. But I didn't. I just sit here and totally get out of my shell and do my stuff. Cameras off, I do my stuff. It's so weird. But this is the time where I always evolve my freestyle rap pretty much, or like my flow and all this stuff, because I do like stuff that is like, I go on the mic and like I do like, instead of filling out the whole sentence in a bar, I do like maybe 70% of it, and then there is this pause in the end of the bar, and I go like dee-dee-dee-dee-doo, like something that I just do. I do a sound. I just do anything. Like, it could be anything. Like anything. It could be anything. And then I try to keep on the sound or the rhythm with it, and it's so nice, because my inner child is like, a lot of times it's like, yeah, that sounds so bad, holy shit. But sometimes it's like, holy shit, that sounds nice. I have to do that again. And that's like, holy shit, then I'm so happy. And that's, I think, yeah, if you grow old, I'm almost 30 now. I wouldn't say I'm old, but I'm not 15 anymore. Like, you get this kind of feeling where people are like, oh, you have to grow up, you don't behave like a 30-year-old man. No, I'm not. And I will not. I probably will not even do that when I'm like 50, because I'm just weird. But I like it. It's fuck it.
Older, as we grow up, I think especially probably in Western society, but in modern society in general, I think we get a lot of messaging along the way, whether it's from parents or teachers, that, you know, we kind of have to prove our worth through our output.
Yeah.
You know, like, if you get a good grade, well, that's great. You know, you're going to be celebrated. If you get a bad grade, well, now you're going to be in trouble, you know, and until you get that good grade, it's kind of like you have to earn that love in that moment.
I know.
You know, and we get those messages through.
You have to earn that love is such a nice word to put it, and just such a nice way to put it, because how do I tell that? Yeah, fuck it, scheiß auf. So my last relationship went on for 6 years, and in this relationship I got really ill. My mom died. It took 2 years till she died, and it was a horrific, like, it was so bad. This 2 years was so bad, and even after that I couldn't handle myself. I went into depression, lost my job. It was horrible. Like, I was down on the ground, and I almost were like, fuck it, will follow my mom. But I didn't. But even in that time, she, I don't want to name her, but she left me because I couldn't provide money and couldn't provide what she wanted in her life, which I also acknowledge and accept, because, yeah, fine, I guess you have your plans in life, but I didn't plan this myself as well. Like, I have never planned, like, falling down and losing my mom and getting sick and all this stuff. So what the fuck? So if I don't earn money and I'm not having money and I'm rich or whatever, and I can handle everything on my own without failing, you leave me? Like, what the fuck? This was also a moment where I was like, fuck all of this stuff. Fuck it. And then there was this moment. But I'm thankful for this situation, because that was the point where I dropped the lowest in my life, which was the point where I almost like, yeah? Then I went to therapy. And after therapy, I was like, you know what? I have pretty much lost everything. I lost my mom, which was pretty much also my best friend. And then I lost the woman I loved, and I was totally alone. Like I was so alone. I've never felt so lonely in my life in that moment. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I will just do my stuff. I have nothing to lose. I still have nothing to lose. Like nothing. I have nothing to lose because I have nothing, and that's fine. That it's not even bad. I'm in a situation where whatever I do, it's good because I cannot lose anything. Nothing. And that's the first time I personally think that I'm kind of free emotionally. And I don't have to earn anything from anyone. It's just me doing my stuff. And yeah, there are some people that support me, which are you guys. And that's so nice. But in the end, it's me doing my stuff. And either you like it or not. And if not, okay, that's it. Fine. And it feels nice to not have to prove to anyone anything. It's just for me and myself, and I do it all because I want to do it. So yeah, that's nice.
Throughout our lives, and I feel like the pressure behind those messages only increases over time.
Right.
You know, when you got to try to get into a college if that's the path you're on, and then you graduate from college and you have to enter the workforce, and you're not going to be able to make a lot of money until you prove yourself and move up that structure. And there's just this sort of feeling that putting out something into the world that's not of the utmost quality is somehow going to take away from like your personal self-worth as a human being.
Yes.
And that's not actually the case, you know? Like, I always would tell my students, it's important to remember that nobody is ever going to get hurt by your bad freestyle. You know what I mean? And nobody's ever going to die.
True.
Like, right? Not even close. They're not even gonna feel any sense of pain whatsoever. You know, it won't cause any real world problem for any other human being on earth.
True.
But why do we put the pain on ourselves when we fail or are embarrassed?
Yeah. I will answer this question first, and then I want to say so much. I don't know why. I just wanted to watch it, and now I want to talk so much. So why do we put the pen on ourselves so much? Why? I think it's because we never see us in the same eyes of other people. Like when I watch into the mirror, I would say I'm an ugly motherfucker. Like I'm fat, I'm ugly. Like I cannot grow a fully grown out fucking nice beard. My teeth are all fucked up. All this stuff. Like fuck it. It's annoying. And then there are people like, yo, your voice is so nice, and I think like, nah, no. It sounds weird because I cannot hear myself like that. And besides the videos or my music, and yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't know when we get to the point that we are always putting so much judgment on ourselves that it's like unhealthy. I don't know, but it's unhealthy. But I do it a lot as well. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's a good question, man. I mean, I do think it's because of the way that society sort of puts these messages out to us that our self-worth is dependent on what we do.
Yeah.
You know, and so people decide early on. I also think another thing that goes along with this is the way that music is taught, and probably other art forms as well, or anything that might be under the umbrella of creative work. It's sort of taught in this way where let's say you want to be a musician and you're a child. Then often very quickly your parent will say, okay, well maybe, but we're gonna have to get you some music lessons. You know, we're gonna have to get you with a professional so that you can learn the right way to be creative.
Which is, in my opinion, not the right way. It's in my opinion, it's the wrong way, because then you learn the math behind it. You know what I mean? Like of course you have to learn some of that stuff. If you want to be a pianist, you have to learn the piano, right? Of course you have to. You have to learn how to read notes and all this stuff. I don't know. I can't read notes. I can't play piano. I can play one piano song, and that's just because I learned how to play the piano song, and that's it. I don't know what. I don't know anything, and that's not. It's okay because but I feel the stuff. Like I feel something when I do music. I feel something when the beat is coming on. I know how to move around this beat. If it's my body or it's like I'm fucking right. When I dance, it looks like shit, but at least it's in rhythm. And but I also know how to get around with words and all the stuff. I have never heard a beat before, and I know how to rap on it before the beat even drops because you get a feeling for it. And I think there are multiple ways to get into it. There's no fixed way where you have to do if you want to go into music. If you feel it, you feel it. If you don't feel it, yeah, then I don't know why you want to do music if you don't feel it. I don't get it. Just because of money, there are 100 million other jobs that get paid really good that are easier to get into. So yeah, I think the 100% one thing that you need to get into music is that you feel music. If you want to do really good music, and yet we don't talk about the charts because a lot of time, in my opinion, the music in the charts, I can only say it for the German charts, right, is fucked up. Like that's like mediocre music. It's just like, here's a song, listen to it. And there are so many artists that are not known that can make way better music or have way better music, but they can't reach those numbers, so they get in the charts. And so it's always the same. Like music in Germany is always the same. Always the same. It's mediocre stuff. Sometimes there are some unique stuff. Things like, as I said, or mentioned, I think Sido is a German rapper, is different than pretty much others. There are like a few more, like Contra K, Kollega, and some other, like TJ Beast Boy is different, but he's only on YouTube, right? Or on Spotify and all that stuff. He's not in the charts. Like Jay Jiggy, also such a nice musician, in my opinion, and he has so much knowledge, and never in the charts. And that's so annoying. But those people are really feeling the music, and the charts nowadays are more like, yeah, how can we make a lot of money and without a lot of work? And that's just so annoying. Like, how many artists in the charts are not writing their own songs? Like, what the fuck? Oh man, the video is 1 hour and 20 minutes, and I watched 12 minutes, and my video is already 40 minutes. Fuck.
Right? When in reality, every child is creative. Like I was banging rhythms on my high chair tray, and I didn't need anybody to give me permission to do that.
Sure.
And but what so often happens is the child is banging rhythms on the high chair tray, and then the parent intervenes and says, "Oh, maybe you're interested in music. Stop that, because that's probably not right.
Let's go structure it."
Yeah, we'll get you with a professional who will show you the right way to do this. And then often what happens is maybe the student gets paired with a teacher. Maybe it's not the best fit, or maybe it's not the best teacher. Who knows? Or maybe it's just the wrong time for that child to be learning in that particular way, and they struggle in those lessons, and they don't necessarily get very far, and then they get frustrated because suddenly what was a very intuitive expression of creativity is now, it's like, that's not it, and you have to do this now, right?
Sure.
And so that's frustrating to a lot of young students, I think. And then what ends up happening is they decide at that point, well, music's not for me.
Interesting.
Or this creative expression is not for me.
Yeah.
Or art, or anything, or even, somebody who wants to create a podcast or build out a business like you've done. I think a lot of people have already decided, well, I'm not creative, therefore I can't do that.
Right.
And I don't actually think that's the case at all. I think, it's just this, from a very early age, you're getting these messages that there's a right way to be creative and a wrong way, and you have to be taught the right way. And that, I think that sort of gatekeeping almost to creativity causes a lot of people to be turned off from it.
Now, how did you learn to overcome failure then? You know, with
I think everyone, like not all people can be creative, but almost everyone can be a creative, but in his own piece of interest, right? If you're interested into music, sure, you can be creative into music. But if you are more like a drawer, then you can get creative there. Maybe you are more into makeup and can be creative there, or into building like whatever, like doing puzzles or whatever. Like I don't know, like math. You can also be creative with math, like and try to get a new formula or whatever. Like you can be creative in so many ways. You just have to find something that you really like. I think that's my opinion.
Because you were into freestyle rapping when you were 10, 12, 13 in your teens, but you didn't pursue that as the next thing for you. You pursued jazz drumming, essentially.
Yeah.
And then for what, about 10 years, you were doing like, you know, $50, $100 gigs for jazz drumming around LA, trying to make a living. Which you never really, let's say, made it financially, but you were living a dream. You were playing professionally. You're getting paid to play in front of people, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
How did you learn to overcome the failures that would come?
That's a great question. You know what? For me, I've always had such a strong passion for music my entire life that, you know, regardless of what happened in terms of my music career, so to speak, I feel like I've identified as a musician since I was very young.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you did that because I think a lot of people cannot do that. I'm still having a problem with when someone is saying to me I'm a musician, even so I have tracks on Spotify. Nowadays I would make them 100% better than when I released them, but yeah, it's hard for me to acknowledge that because for the majority of humans out there, or for the public, let's say it like that, you are only a musician if you make money with it, which I make, but it's not like I'm getting rich from it. It's like 2 figures a month. But who cares? It's money. I make money with music. So yeah, it's weird, right? It's weird to acknowledge that, in my opinion, for a lot of people. Some people do it and they shouldn't, because some people do it just because of I want to be famous. And I think that's a totally wrong way to do it. But yeah.
You know, my parents tell me stories about, you know, I used to love classic blues, Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf. My dad would make me cassette tapes with those artists on them. And I loved them as a kid. And then there were times, like before I was even walking, Muddy Waters or Howlin' Wolf would come on the radio and I'd start vibrating. Like, I don't remember that, but that's what they tell me. So, you know, and I would crawl to the speaker, and like I said, I would play drums on my high chair tray, and I've always felt very connected to music. And so, you know, violin was my first instrument, then I went to the drums, then I started rapping, and there's been all these sort of different chapters in my life of how I've sort of expressed my musicality, and it hasn't always been the same, and it's morphed and it's changed. And there have been times where, you know, I had to have a job that wasn't music. You know,
I think it's also totally natural that you change what you do with music. Like I did rap, I did some reggae stuff, which I never put out. But I did rap, I did rock, pop, like stuff that MGK does. I sometimes do a little bit like stuff that like Rammstein and all this stuff is doing, where I use my dark voice. And yeah, it's sometimes I go into singing, which I don't think is so nice, but I'm trying to learn it because I want to just do what I feel, and when I feel like on this one particular beat I want to sing 2 lines or 4 lines or maybe the hook, then I don't want to take a feature in just because I want something to switch up, so I have to learn it myself, right? I think you evolve all the time, and that's good.
Worked at a call center for about 4 years.
Really? Here in LA?
Yeah, at my alma mater at USC.
No way.
I called the alumni and asked for charitable
Give me some money.
donations.
Give me some money.
Yeah, which was a very challenging, in many ways, soul-sucking job. That actually taught me a lot, though. I think a lot of important
I
lessons.
mean, to
come from
ask
that
for
job.
money as an artist is hard to do too.
Yes.
Like to learn to sell yourself.
Yeah.
100%. Like Patreon, I have my Patreon, and I never ask for it that anybody is subscribing. I never do that. But and I also never imagined me having a Patreon. It's because of viewers like you that I have it. You suggested to me that I should do it, and I never say anything about it. That I have it or so, because it's hard for me to sell myself. I don't know why. It's hard for me to ask for money. I don't like it. I want to earn it, which is weird because I'm doing music and it's hard work to do music. If you don't think so, make a song and tell me how long it took to make one song and sound good with good bars that rhyme, nice flow, and have sense.
To sell your art, your music,
Yeah.
to say buy a ticket, you buy a CD, whatever it is, that takes courage.
Absolutely.
And most artists don't want to sell.
Right. Right. I think there's a stigma around selling as an artist a lot of the time. There's this idea that you shouldn't have to promote yourself, which is totally crazy. Of course you should promote yourself, as a
Big issue for me. Big issue for me. But I'm trying to get better in it. But it takes a little bit of time.
musician. I mean, I'm a musician, but I'm also an entrepreneur. I want to do, I'm so in love with music. I want it to be what I'm able to do full time with my life,
Same.
And in order to be able to do that, I have to build a business around my music. So I think, learning how to ask for money, essentially, right? Learning how to promote, learning how to build rapport with strangers, learning how to network, lessons like that, and also learning how to, like you say, get comfortable with rejection. I mean, working at that call center was a crash course, man. I used to be so uncomfortable on the phone.
How often were you getting rejected or said no to?
All day, all the time. And the funny thing is, I was set up to call the music school because that's the school that I went to.
Oh, and they got no money.
They
got no money.
Right. Or they're not working in music and they spent a lot of money on a music degree and now they're selling insurance or whatever it might be, and maybe there's some resentment there.
They're like, screw USC, they didn't get me anything,
USC didn't help me, I'll never donate back, and all those kinds of things. It was great for me. Even though I didn't really enjoy being there because I would rather be playing the drums or rapping. I gained so much from it.
What were the 3 biggest lessons from being told no and rejection for 4 years at a call center?
I think the 3 biggest lessons. Number 1, I learned to just sort of let rejection roll over me. I learned to not take it personally. Because after spending even just a few days in a call center, you will learn that it's not personal. It's not about you. Right? Rejection is the name of the game. You're going to get rejected most of the time. And then maybe 1 out of 20 calls, you'll get a donation. Right? So the job is basically rejection. And so if you take that personally, you're not going to last more than a week. So I quickly learned to not take it personally. And that's probably the most important lesson. And that's helped me in a lot of other areas of life as well. The second big lesson from the call center, I think, is you don't know to what degree people can help you unless you ask.
Give me an example.
When I first started training for the job, they told me the first amount of money you're going to ask for is $250. And I couldn't believe that I would ask a stranger over the phone for that much money. And that's not some crazy amount of money. But for me in college at that time especially, and in general, just for a stranger on the phone to ask you for $250, it seemed crazy to me.
Yeah.
And so I was so intimidated just by that fact that I had to start the call by asking for $250. And sure enough, not every time, maybe not even every day, but every couple days, somebody would say, yeah, sure, I can donate $250. I enjoyed my time at USC. I'll do that. Here's my credit card info.
Wow.
And so I think, we have these sort of like limiting beliefs, right? That, oh, no one would ever give $250. And granted, they weren't giving it to me, they were giving it to USC. But applying that now, when I'm building a business and, it's like, I don't know to what degree my fans are willing to support, or I don't know to what degree other people might be willing to join my team and support, unless I ask. And if I have this belief in my head, like, well, nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to come work for me as a full-time video editor. Why me? Why would they do that? A lot of times we have these sort of self-doubts or these limiting beliefs. Yeah. And so that's something that I got from the call center, is that, all you have to do is ask. And the worst that's going to happen is they'll say no.
Right.
And you don't have to take that personally.
And learn how to not take it personally.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. And what's the third thing?
Well, the third biggest thing for me that I gained from the call center was learning how to network with other people, learning how to talk to other people. I wasn't antisocial necessarily.
Were you introverted though, or were you?
Yeah, and I still am. I mean, there's the performer Harry Mack that goes out in public and asks people to freestyle for them.
The extrovert who's the performer,
yeah.
But the rest of you is more of an introvert.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I prefer to read a book.
You don't like people. No.
That is totally weird. Because what you see of me is actually me. Like almost all the time. I'm always like 100% the same. But I also switch between introvert and extroverted all the time. Like, I'm switching all the time. It depends on the situation which I'm in. Like, here I'm in front of a camera alone. And I don't care. I could cut out anything that I don't like. But when I stream, I'm a little bit more pressured, and so I'm more like, I will never, or I have never freestyled on the same level when I was live, when I'm not live and do it for myself. So the more people watch me live, I'm getting more introverted because I'm so scared of fucking up. And I kind of don't want to talk anymore. Like, because I don't want to. I don't want to talk. It's more like I don't want to exit my comfort zone because I'm so scared of fucking up. But most of the time I'm kind of extroverted because I'm. If you know me and I know you, I'm extroverted, I think. But if you don't know me and I don't know you, I will probably most of the time be more quiet. And first of all, analyze the situation. How are you? How I know how I am, but how are you behaving and all the stuff? So yeah, I'm not just going into like, yo, what's up, man? Yo, I'm not like that. I'm more like, first I'm chill, and then I will see what's going on around everyone, and then I will see if I can be myself, and if not, I will probably leave pretty quick, or just stay quiet. That's it.
I love people, but I need to recharge alone.
Sure, it's a lot of energy, I'm sure,
yeah.
to be that creative, to also overcome your fear every time if you're going out in public and talking to strangers and saying, hey, do you want me to freestyle rap for you?
Yeah.
They're like, get away from me. I'm trying to get to the store or whatever. I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a fact or so, but from what I know, the most people that I know that are pretty creative are most of the time alone. And I don't mean just and I don't mean it in a relationship way. Oh yeah, I do, actually. Most of the people that I know that are really creative are also not in a relationship for a long time. But most of the time they are just alone for a long time a day. Like me. I like see humans or people maybe every 3 days. I'm not leaving the house pretty much because why should I? I hate it. I don't like being around because I like being alone and let my creativity flow, or yeah, I just, if I want to relax, I do YouTube videos. I just do this. This is me relaxing right now because I'm just myself. I will not change because of a certain video or reaction that I do. And yeah, that's it, pretty much. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I'm talking so much. 1 hour almost in the video, and I have watched 20 minutes. I'm so weird.
Oh yeah,
It takes a lot of courage and energy and thought and creativity.
absolutely.
Even if you've done it for decades, it still takes energy and effort.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it does. I mean, at the end of a day of shooting guerrilla bars where we're out in public doing what you just mentioned, I'm exhausted.
Drained,
I'm
probably.
completely drained.
How long do you go for?
It depends. We'll be out there for 3 or 4 hours, maybe. Yeah.
But it's like the rejection and then it's the highs, right? You
Yeah.
get like both sides of it.
Yeah.
And it's managing the energy of both, right?
Yeah, and it's in this. If we get the yes and we're able to do a performance within that 3 minutes and 30 seconds of me performing, I'm giving everything.
You're
I'm giving
in the zone.
Everything I have in the zone, and such a high level of focus. I mean, it's very mentally taxing. Although it happens in a very short frame of time, it's a sprint.
Because
it's a
you have
mental
to
sprint.
pull, I don't even know how you do this, but I'm assuming you've got, I don't want to actually assume, but I would think that you would have a vocabulary
Yes.
of words that you know, here's 30 words that all rhyme, or
Yeah.
10 words that all rhyme, and there's somewhere in your mind, I think people call it like the mental castle or something, where there's
Yeah.
places in your mind where these words can be stored.
Yes.
Where you can tap into in different places in your mind.
Yeah.
And link together. And that is an incredible skill that people can learn how to do, but it just takes a lot of effort and energy
Yeah.
to master that.
Absolutely.
You see people doing that with like counting numbers or cards or
Yeah.
names and memorizing things. It's like,
Yeah.
it is a gift, man.
Man, thank you. No, it's really a lot of fun, and it's exactly how you described it. It's a vocabulary. You know, being a freestyler is completely different than, you know, if I were writing songs and making albums in a more traditional sort of format. Because in that sense, you're taking time to, you know, pen something and revise it maybe and get it to a place where you're happy with it, and then you're committing it to memory, and it's always essentially coming back out the same way. What I'm doing is I'm attempting to develop a language,
Yes.
you know, my own personal language and vocabulary.
And adding music and tonality and
Right.
all these different elements
Right.
to make it rhythmic
Yes.
and pop and be unique. Not just let me rhyme and monotone, but
Right.
flow in a different way.
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, that's not to take away from the great songwriters of the genre as well, many of whom I love, you know, and have influenced the way that I rap. So, you know, I love Nas, you know, I love Kendrick Lamar, I love Eminem, I love, you know, Jay-Z, Biggie. I love these artists, and they're my heroes. Yeah, it's a different part of the brain, and
Yes.
it's a different approach, because my goal is to be able to rap about anything at any moment. So if we have a conversation and we touch on certain things, or maybe you know, Lewis, you teach me something, drop a concept on me that I hadn't thought about before, you know. I want to be able to say, you know, okay, let me put a beat on and rap about that.
Right.
And the only way that I'll be able to do that successfully is if I have this vocabulary that I'm comfortable with. And
So how big of the vocabulary is it that you have? And are there different buckets of rhyming words that you put in there? Like,
Yes, 100%.
I have no idea how this works.
Yeah. I don't know exactly how large the vocabulary is. It's funny. People will say to me like, "Oh, like you must be a genius," you know, like you have this insane vocabulary. I don't actually think that's true.
Yeah, I don't think that is true. Obvious, I think there are just some geniuses, but in this world, obviously. But I think most of the people are not really geniuses. You know what I mean? They are just doing one thing only for all their life. And if you're not extremely good at that in the whole time of your life, then you just wasted your life pretty much. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's the same as Harry already said for me. I sometimes also write songs. Sure, I did that, and I also do that. But most of the time, I freestyle my songs. Like I will put on the beat and I will freestyle the whole song through. and then I will listen to it. And if there is a part that I really like or that's like almost there, I will remember the words, and then I will do it again, and then maybe that part is better and better and better until it's like 100%. Yeah, this one is good, and then I will do the next ones, and then I will try to connect them and then it's going on and on and on and on. I normally don't write my songs. I normally freestyle pretty much everything. But there are some songs that are written, like Narbenkind is, like my first ever song that I released is totally written because I couldn't freestyle what I wanted to say there. It's just, it has more meanings than you can listen, that you can understand in the first time listening to it. But yeah, that's it.
Like, I know people who use way bigger college words than me in conversation. All the time I have to say, what does that mean? You know? So I don't think it's actually about the size of my, like, regular vocabulary, how most people would talk about vocabulary, right? Like the words you know. But I think what I've practiced and the skill that serves me as a freestyler is that I have quick access and deep familiarity with the vocabulary that I do possess.
That's
so
cool.
I know how to grab the words that I do use quickly, and I can find the right ones for the given moment. And your question about rhyming buckets, sort of, you know, is one way to think about it.
This is the perfect way to describe how you freestyle rap, in my opinion, what he just said. It's not that I don't have a lot of words in my head, but like 100 million words or so. Even so, German is way harder to freestyle than English, I have to say. Because in English you can do more stuff with words, and in German it's not really that. Because if you change some words in German, they are sometimes totally different meaning, or it like makes no sense anymore, or it sounds so weird as for some reason. So, but if you drag like orange, the word orange, if you drag it or pronounce it in a different way, like orange or so, it doesn't really sound that bad in English, but when you in German it's orange, not orange, like it's orange, and then you pronounce it like different. It's like it sounds just weird. Orange, it's weird. It just sounds so weird and so aggressive and weird. It's just weird. So I think it's way harder to freestyle in German. But that's why I also hate the fact that I'm German, to be fair. Like, in the musician part, the artist part, I hate that I'm a born German, because I wish I would have been born in an English-speaking country, so my mother language would be English. Then, because it's way better to do it then. But on the other hand, I'm also glad to be German, right? Yeah. Besides our history, that's fucked up. Okay, let's go.
About it. Yes, 100%. You over time, you know, the first time you try to freestyle about coffee, you might quickly discover you don't have one single word that rhymes with coffee. What rhymes with that? And that will manifest when you say, yo, I'm sitting here sipping on the coffee. All right, hold on, right? So that used to happen all the time, you know, when I was young. Oh yeah, my first freestyles were not good. You know, I've practiced. I've gained my skills over time through practice. But and then maybe you go home and think about it. All right, what rhymes with coffee? And then eventually you think, oh, stop me. Can't nobody stop me. That could be a useful rhyme with coffee. And then eventually over time you have coffee and probably and watch me and cacophony as a stretch rhyme, you know.
And not for free or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. There you go. Yes, yes.
So it's adding two words that make it rhyme, maybe not one word or something, yeah.
Exactly. And you start to build that up with a range of words, you know.
Interesting.
And you start to commit them to memory the more that you use them.
Sure.
And so in that sense, it really is a language. I like to remind people, like, we're improvising right now. Like, we're freestyling right now, utilizing our language. And we're not overthinking it. You know, we don't have a plan. Like, I don't know what you're going to ask me. You don't know what I'm going to say back. And many of the things...
It's jazz. It's live jazz.
It's live jazz. It's a freestyle cypher session. And what's so cool about that is, like, we're not completely reinventing the wheel with every single thing we say. Like, if I sit down, you might say, hey, welcome to School of Greatness. I'm happy to have you here. And I'm going to say, oh, thanks, Louis. It's really an honor to be here, right? And sentences with basically that exact same structure have been said millions of times, And it's the same when I'm freestyling. It's not that I'm completely creating from scratch every single time and trying to make something brand new. It's just the fact that I don't have a plan and I'm fully open to going in any direction, and I'm going to use the vocabulary that.
That is the beauty of freestyle rap. You don't know where you will end up when the song is finished. That's what I love at doing freestyle rap. I did freestyle raps where I started rapping about my garden and my apple tree, and I ended up having sex with a gorilla. Like what the fuck? Would I not? I did not have sex with a gorilla, but you know what I mean. I never had this particular rhyme journey to that ending, but it just was an example. What a better example. But yeah, sometimes it goes. That is so dumb. In so weird directions that I don't know how it happened. After the song, but then you're like, what the fuck? But yeah, sure, why not? Yeah.
That I do have, and the words that I have, and my fluency in this sort of language of rap to communicate to the best that I can in that moment what it is I'm trying to say.
Right, it's really cool, man.
Thank you.
But for how many years were you doing the jazz drumming for?
From age 10 till...
I mean professionally.
Professionally, yeah. So I went to school for jazz at USC. I graduated in 2012, and I gigged around LA from 2012 to 2017.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah.
And then you decided to... Were you still doing the freestyle rapping thing at the time, just kind of like for fun with friends?
Yeah. I sort of fell victim to this thing that I think a lot of people might go through who go to college and earn a degree. My degree was in jazz studies, and I was a drummer on paper, and I did love playing the drums. I really did, and I love jazz music. I still do. But my heart and my creative voice was really in hip hop.
Really?
Yeah.
Even before you went to USC?
Yeah, I think so. I think it always I think, hip hop is the first music that grabbed me directly. My dad was a jazz fan, and he had this incredible collection of CDs and albums from, the jazz greats, Miles Davis and Coltrane and people like that. And he gifted that music to me. He shared that music with me, and that was an incredible gift. I'm really grateful that he did that, and I do love jazz. But it
doesn't speak to your heart the same way hip hop does.
Yeah. It spoke to my dad's heart that way, Hip hop grabbed me directly, no middle person.
But you didn't have like a path to pursue after high school necessarily to say, I'm going to go try this hip hop thing, Dad.
Yeah. I was fortunate enough that my parents supported me getting a jazz drumming degree.
That's a big deal.
That's rare.
That's
rare. A lot of parents...
Because they know you're not going to make money.
Exactly. I mean, it's so unlikely, the number of people on earth that can make a good living playing jazz.
Handful.
It's a handful, and it's the best of the best of the best. I mean, it's the greatest living jazz musicians.
And it's the greatest and the most marketable, the ones that promote themselves and package and position their brand in the right ways at the right time.
Exactly.
My brother talks about this, he's like, he sees so many talented people that are just in their room thinking someone's going to discover them.
Right.
It's like, if you're not building your personal brand and promoting yourself like what you do through content, no one would know who you are.
Right.
There's probably only... I haven't seen any other people do what you do, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a handful of guys who are doing street stuff around the world, street rapping, but you have built a personal brand that allows you to be known, that allows you to generate revenue. And a lot of artists, I feel like, just work on the craft only and then sit and hope someone discovers them at a night gig. Once a week.
Yeah.
But this is a daily thing where you are creating content, building personal brand, and mastering craft.
Yeah. It's so important because I don't want to have to wait for somebody else to give me permission to have my success.
Yeah.
I want to be able to manifest my own success using my own creativity and do it sort of on my terms, and in a way that aligns with my heart and makes sense for me and showcases what I do in the best possible way. And I think one of the challenges that freestyle improvisers, because there's a long lineage of incredible freestylers way before Harry Mack, you know. One of my biggest influences is MC Supernatural, who's one of the greatest freestyle rappers to ever live. Yeah, and there's many others as well. That's just one. But one of the biggest challenges they faced is that like a freestyle rapper doesn't fit in easily to sort of the machine of the music industry, right? Because people working at record labels, they might hear an amazing improvised freestyle all about their outfit and the label name and maybe the whole catalog of the last year, and it might blow their mind, right? That's happened time and time again. And then they say, oh, this person is amazing. This is great. Do you have a single for radio? Do you have something we can promote? Where's the album? We want to put you on tour, but we can't do that unless we have streams, radio plays, structure. People need to know that they're going to be able to come out and sing along. What do they sing along with? You know, what are you going to do basically to help us make money as a record label? Yeah, exactly. And so the monetization was all kind of outsourced in many ways, because like pre-social media, that was kind of like the best avenue, was to hope that you got discovered and signed by a record label, because they're the ones who actually have the budget to promote. You really didn't have the power for the most part as an independent artist back then. There just weren't the tools available to you in the same way they are now to kind of take control of that. So I have a huge privilege, you know, coming into my career now in this era where there's all these free social media platforms that you have access to, and everybody has this phone in their pocket that's also a 4K video camera.
Yeah, but also there is so much content and so many people doing it that it's just overflooded. It's hard to get views if you are not already known. Like, of course it's possible, and I also did it 1 or 2 times already, but it's hard. It's really, really hard. You have to learn so much again. Like, you have to learn so much, and you have to do it like all the time. I did it for 3 months straight, and I went from I think 200 subscribers to 2,600 or so in 3 months, which is insane in my opinion. And then I stopped for 2 months, and it was like this, and then I stopped for 2 months, and it went so crazy down. And you have to be able to do it for a long time, continuously, without missing out. Because whenever you miss out, you are getting punished for it. It's crazy hard. It's hard work. That's it. But if you can be consistent, I think it's possible. I think also that I am able to do it if I stay consistent. But I'm also in a weird position, right? I do all this English reaction stuff, and then on the other hand, I do German music. So it's hard to get known in Germany for my music, when most of my viewers are not German. So yeah.
You know, and we can capture anything and we can share it with the world. And if it has creative merit, or if it's marketed creatively, if you're able to connect with an audience, then you're able to build an audience organically, and you're able to succeed. And you can do that on your own terms without waiting for anybody else's permission.
Right.
And you can make mistakes and learn from them, and you can experiment and try things. You can do things when you want to. You never have to wait, you know, for someone to say, oh, it's not the right time, maybe we'll try it then. Or, oh, I don't know if this is the right direction. We don't want to waste time or money doing this. You get to make those decisions, and it really gives a lot of power to, you know, the independent artist. And I think one of my missions and goals in what I'm doing is to change the landscape for freestylers in particular. Because to me, it's an absolute travesty that all of these great freestylers who inspired me are not as well known as their peers who maybe had big radio hits, you know, and went more the traditional path. These improvisers are some of the highest level, you know, creative musicians on earth, you know, similar to a Miles Davis or a John Coltrane. Right. And they deserve to have that light shine on them. And I think for young freestylers coming up today, hopefully I can play a part in them looking and seeing, oh, there is a path for this, you know, or there is a way to pursue this on my own terms. Sure. And even if I prefer to freestyle and create kind of in the moment, and I prefer to have it be different every moment and not, write it down and recite it the same way every time. That doesn't have to mean that there's no future for it.
Right.
Because for so long, that's how it was posed to freestylers. It says, oh, this is great, but when are you going to pivot? When are you going to do what actually matters, right? It's like, okay, you can freestyle, but when are you going to make a song? Because until you do, it's not really a thing.
It's a cool little gimmick or whatever.
Exactly,
right?
exactly. It's a fun way to sharpen your sword, so to speak. It's a good practice routine. You're obviously very talented, and anyone who sees it knows that, right?
But we can't monetize it.
We don't know how to sell it, and so that's the whole thing. Is that piece about you're obviously very talented, and anybody who sees it knows that. Well, now it's like, okay, let me film it,
yes.
And anybody who sees it will, acknowledge the talent, and if it moves them or speaks to them personally, then they may be moved to follow along with what you're doing, and maybe if you get to a point where you're having a show, they'll be the ones to buy the tickets, and so yeah, I would love to sort of make that kind of wave where for so long I was talking to somebody and they talked about how, you'll say, oh, they're a great freestyler, but they don't know how to make a hit song. He said, well, do you ever ask the freestyler, do you want to make a hit song?
Right.
It's like, and it's the same thing for comedians. It's like, oh, he's so good at stand-up, but like, he's never written a TV show. Or,
sure.
Well, did you ever
doesn't want to do that, yeah.
Right. Do they want to do that? And it's almost as though, somehow only the latter is relevant.
Okay. I think that's a really nice way to say it, because the first 10 years of me doing freestyle rap, which were hidden by myself, I also already said that, but I never even was in a position where I was like, do I want a hit song? I still don't know if I want a hit song. Of course I want my music to be heard, but I don't need to be in the charts, and I don't need like 1 million streams or so on one song. I would be enough if I can just live from it, and not being rich in this particular way, but like getting enough money with my craft so I can do my craft even more. That would be awesome. And I would 100% work for it, but it's like, I don't know. Do I want to have a hit song? Whenever I write my songs, I'm never going in with the intention of me writing a hit song. It's more like, if I'm writing a song, I have a topic that I think is so important to me that I have to write it down because I want to do it in the right way, and not just freestyle something where like 8 out of 32 lines are actually what I mean. I want all the lines to be what I mean. You know what I mean? It's never with the intuition of getting famous or getting views or getting money or anything. It's more like, I want to say something, so I write it down, so I say it right. You know?
Or important, and what about just being a good freestyler? Maybe that is in and of itself.
I think I need someone to help me because I just realized that I'm not doing it for the money. So that's like, it doesn't make sense that I want to do music and I want people to listen to it, but I'm not advertising it in the right way. And I also want to live from it, but I don't want to ask for anything. So it's weird. I think I need someone that just kicks my ass or helps me a little bit with it. So, yeah. I think I have to think about that.
Of course, personally believe it is valuable. You know, I'm very passionate about it, and I'm not the only one. And I would love to create a world where up and comers can say, "Oh, dope! This is my thing," and I get to show it myself, and I don't have to wait.
Have you created a freestyle membership yet?
Not yet. Well, I'm on Patreon.
Okay, cool. Of other freestylers?
No,
I'm saying like a club,
that would be
like a
dope.
membership where you are the, you know, kind of the leader, the host of
Sure.
the community
Yes.
that pays to be a part of it, where you provide resources and tools to help them expand their reach or something like
Yeah,
that.
that would be
That
really
could be the
dope.
next thing for you.
I love that.
When did you realize that?
If he establishes something like a freestyle club where you can pay something like entrance, and it's not about the freestyling pretty much, but it's more like about how to advertise your craft, I think I would probably buy it. But then on the other hand, when it's real, right? But I think Harry Mack is real with it. But on the other hand, I don't think he will do it. But because why should anyone? That's like thinking of a person that is up in the well, maybe 1% of humanity, right? Like that had made his stuff. It's not against Harry Mack now. It's just overall speaking. Why should you invite someone that probably is able to take you out of your position because he's maybe better? Maybe there is someone out there that is, let's take him as an example, that is better than Harry Mack. Like way better. Let's say there is someone. I don't think so, but let's say. And Harry Mack makes him get up on the thing. Why should he do that? Because, yeah, he can profit from him, but then I don't know. Like, why should people do that? That's what I think people think up there. That's at least what I got to know when I saw some stuff happening. Like I had some people that, or I saw some people that intentionally let people stay down there, even so they are great and would be so nice up in something else. It doesn't have to be music. It doesn't have to be movies. Also in a job. Just because they are dangerous for their own position. And that's, I think, that's so bad and fucked up. Because on the one hand, I really would like to enter this club when Harry Mack does something like that. But on the other hand, I'm so careful with those workshops and other stuff. But because I think every YouTube video or whatever video you see on the internet where people say like, do this and you will get famous, it's just bullshit. Because if you would do this and you would get famous, you wouldn't do this video. You know what I mean? Like there are not really a lot of people that really did it and then tell them the majority of people how they did it. I don't know. That's just my opinion, right?
Because you kind of grew up in the social media world
Yeah.
when you started doing freestyling and doing it more full time. What, 2016, I think you said, or 20?
And 2017, basically, end of 2016.
So the tools of, I guess, TikTok started to come along 2018, I guess.
Yeah.
YouTube started to make it more for live streams, and Instagram started to have video, I think, around then. So you kind of transitioned right when live video, vertical video started to come around in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
When did you realize, like, oh, this is a way to make a great living and not just make $50 a night and some chicken nuggets at the local bar, drumming? After, I know you got a commercial, but I mean, with the social media wave, when did you realize, oh, I can make a real living here?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know what's funny? My first sort of taste of having a viral video was the end of 2016. I made a video with my friend, and it was for his channel, and it got 100,000 views overnight. It was me freestyling while driving down Sunset Boulevard and rapping about the changing scenery around me. that was my first taste. That was kind of the catalyst for me saying, okay, I got to dive in on this and see what I can build. You know, it gave me the excitement.
Had you made any content before then?
No.
As a freestyler, you
No.
were just kind of like doing it for friends, for fun, but
I had various, you know, I had my band in my group in middle school and high school. We became pretty popular, but it was written songs. It wasn't really freestyling. In college, I put in just an absurd number of hours freestyling in the dorm with my friends. I mean, insane. Like
every night, just like
Yeah.
whatever's happening, I'm rapping.
Yeah, at least like 2 or 3 hours almost every night.
That's fun.
Yeah, and became known around like, you know, party circuits as this crazy freestyler guy.
It's like the trick that you could pull out and bring out to a party.
Yeah, and it was always fun, you know, make little circles at the party and freestyle, which is
cool.
how most people get started freestyling.
That's
you know,
fun.
I had a band for a while with my you know, jazz studies cohorts at USC. It was dope. It was kind of like, you know, we looked up to the Roots and groups like that had live instrumentation. So we had, you know, drums, bass, guitar, keys, horn section, and then I was the front person freestyling.
That's cool.
Which was a lot of fun. We became a very popular party band. So, you know, we would play all around the USC campus and things of that nature. But yeah, the first content that I made was at the end of 2016, and it was for my friend's channel. And it got 100,000 views overnight, and that was enough of a catalyst for me to realize I need to start my own thing. Didn't have a YouTube channel, didn't have like a professional Facebook page, or even like, you know, my IG was just a personal IG, you know, which I barely ever posted on. I wasn't a social media guy.
Wow.
Didn't know anything about it.
You're an introvert.
Yeah, I was an introvert, you know. So I just wasn't that into it. But all of a sudden I was like, oh, wait a minute. This is a way that I can create energy around my freestyling. Like, that's interesting, you know. And so I set up my YouTube channel, but what's so funny is my first, you know, I made a couple videos that didn't really get too many views. You know, I was starting from scratch. Eventually we went out to Venice Beach, and I had sort of my first, like, you know, hit, so to speak. I had a very viral, yeah. It was called Venice Beach Freestyle Part 1. And we posted that on YouTube, and it went pretty crazy on YouTube, but on Facebook it went bananas. It got reposted by this viral conglomerate site and ended up getting like, you know, 20 million views or something on that one repost. And across all the reposts, it was upwards of 40 million views or something like that. And that had never happened to me before.
2016, 2017?
2017, February 2017.
Oh, you remember the exact day.
Yeah, I remember. I remember, because it was mind blowing for me.
Yeah.
You know, I it was just insane. I had never experienced that before. Just all the comments and just seeing it reposted and shared here and on blogs that I knew about, and seeing my video up there was just wild. But what's so funny, I did a few videos after that, but I didn't turn on the ads for any of those videos.
I did this for years, man.
Because I thought it would annoy people.
Dude, I did for 6 years on YouTube.
Did you do it by choice, or did you not know that it was there?
I did it by choice because I wanted to serve and add value, and I didn't want like some sleazy marketing campaign in front of my videos, right? So I was like, all right, I'm just going to add so much value to my community and build this up for free. And we did this for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
I went back. I started turning on the ads a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
In the first month, I go, oh, this is not bad. And then it just kept growing.
Yeah.
And I went back and just looked at the views from the previous 5 years.
Yeah.
And I about threw up when I realized that I lost about $1 million.
Wow.
Minimum.
Wow.
And it probably would have been 3 or 4, because had I known I was making the money, I'd have been like, let me pay attention to like really go all in on YouTube and make better content and update the stuff. I didn't do.
Yeah, the advertising on YouTube thing, like ads. When I first was in the position that I could do it, I was like, oh, do I do it? Do I do it not? And then I was like, fuck it, why not? And I can tell you, I don't earn money. I earn money from YouTube, but it's like nothing. It's like, I think my best month was 120 euros, which is good. It's for doing videos, like for sitting here watching videos and then posting them. It's like weird. But most of the time it takes me like 2 months to get even paid out. You have to get like 70 euros, like $70 to get paid out. And most of the time I get like 40 to 60 per month. And so yeah, it's not paying so well, let's say like that. But it's fine. It's a nice side income, like pretty much. And I would probably earn more if I wouldn't do like reaction content. But on the other hand, I love doing it, and I did this channel just to speak more English, pretty much. But like all the videos besides the Harry Mack video, I think the Harry Mack video of mine has maybe like 20k views, but that's the only one that is monetized, and the other ones that have like 40k, 50k, they are all not monetized because they're copyright claimed. So if they wouldn't be copyright claimed, I would get more money. But the videos that are monetized don't have like a lot of views. The only one that I can remember is Harry Mack video, and I think 2 BBU beatbox videos are also pretty good. But that's it. That's pretty much it. I have 3 videos that make me money. That's it. The rest is like cents in a month. So yeah. But I will always be transparent to these things.
Any updates of thumbnails? It was like
Same
just
here.
threw it up.
Yes.
And so just based on the views, it would have been $1 million
Right.
over 5 years, which is a lot of money in 5 years for a business.
Absolutely.
And that's why I said, okay, let's really go all in on this and see how we can optimize this. And then at that point, it was also kind of the tipping point where I think they were just putting ads on every video anyways.
Yeah.
Whether you had it turned on or not, they're like,
I see.
we're monetizing your video. So we're like,
Sure.
might as well make money from it. Now,
Absolutely.
everyone sees ads anyways, so it's like, okay, it is what
Right.
it is.
Right.
But so you didn't start doing that originally, but then
No.
you turned it on after these.
Yeah, I never turned them on because, I mean, similar to you, I just thought that it would turn people off from the videos. I would rather have more people see it. And at that
Yes.
time, I felt like the ad would deter people from watching it. And I
Yes.
don't know if that's actually true. I think, it's hard to say. Like you say, now that the ads are so...
I don't think that ads are getting you away from it, or that ads turn people away from the video. I think it's more like the first 30 seconds of a video are the reason why people leave. I can see it in my analytics, right? Like my videos are like always like start here on the graph, and then the longer the video is, it goes like it goes straight down. Like not straight down, but in the longer the video is, the more it goes down. And it's fine. And a lot of times they are skipping the intro or skipping to a part they want to see in the video. Then I don't get really the point why you watch this video when you just watch the original video. I don't get it. Some people just want to see the climax of the original video, like the most insane part where, like, let's say beatbox, there's this crazy drop, and then they skip the whole video to this one part, want to see how I react to this one part, and that's it. Huh? Okay. Yeah, but do as you do. Okay. It's a view for me. But that hurts the videos, because when you watch a video for like 10 seconds and then you click off, YouTube will not recommend the video anymore, because it's really bad. Like YouTube wants you to stay in a video for as long as possible, and the longer the people watch the video, the better it is. Yeah, that's so crazy. So that's also why my Harry Mack reactions are going down like crazy. Like if you see my first Harry Mack reactions, they are like, my first reaction ever is probably the most viewed because it's my first reaction and that's always hits. But the other videos, the more videos I do about Harry Mack, the less views I get. It's totally weird. I don't know why. It's just the what's it called? Attention rate or so? I think it's the attention rate. It's going crazy down at Harry Mack videos. I don't know why. It's insane. I don't know why. Don't get it.
Ubiquitous. I mean, they're everywhere. I think people just expect it, and it's not
accept
really,
it too. Yeah.
And it's totally normal. But that was my philosophy back then. I really didn't know anything about YouTube. I have kind of a funny situation too. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but around that same time, after I'd been making these sort of non-monetized YouTube videos for a while,
Viral videos. Yeah.
I got called to do this Mitsubishi commercial. And it was the craziest thing at the time because, you know, even though I was having these viral videos, I really wasn't making very much money. I mean, I was very much living month to month, which I was used to because I had been a gigging jazz musician for all those years. So I had no overhead, no savings, you know, and I basically just covered my expenses, my rent, my groceries, and gas.
And that's it, yeah.
Yeah, and sort of started over again at the top of each month. I got called to do the Mitsubishi commercial, and it ended up being a national TV ad for 9 months in the U.S. and Canada. It's a trip. It's me dressed up like a Mitsubishi salesperson, and they come in to, you know, test drive the car, and then we go in the car, and I start freestyling the features of the car.
And did you freestyle the whole thing every time, or did you?
I saw that. I haven't reacted to that, but I saw that in the 2 months where I wasn't uploading. I saw. I don't even know what it was. I think it was an advertisement where I saw this, where he was dressed as a Mitsubishi seller, and then he went for a test drive, and then in the car he freestyled the advertisement. It was so nice.
Kind of have pre-planned, like you knew some of the terminology of the whatever.
Yeah, so for the, like, you know, for the ad agency and for like the Mitsubishi Corporation, they want to like approve the copy.
Right.
So
hard, man.
Yeah. So I wrote a verse about the full disclosure. All right, for your audience. And I've talked about this before. I wrote the verse out word for word about the car features and shared that with them. And then we came up with this concept where I would do one take like that.
And then I would
freestyle. Completely freestyle, just rapping about their outfits or whatever came to mind.
And mix it in somehow.
Mix it in with the stuff. So the final product included some of my preconceived lyrics and then some freestyle.
That's cool.
But, you know, for me at the time, that commercial, you know, I made more money than I had ever made in my life. To do that commercial. And it wasn't any, you know, insane jaw-dropping amount. But for me, living month to month, it was like, oh, wow, I can breathe now for the first time. And that felt really, really great.
Yes.
But I also learned a really, really important lesson at that time. You know, I had always had the goal of making an album, you know, writing songs and sort of making more.
Same goal for me. I just want to put out one fully out-produced album. That's my dream.
Of like a traditional hip hop album
that people listen to. I can, of course, put out an album and no one is listening to it, but I want to, you know what I mean?
Even though, you know, I didn't really have experience doing that since my high school days, it was something that I really wanted to do. And I also felt at that time a lot of pressure to do that because I felt like that was the obvious pivot, like we were talking about earlier.
Sure.
You know, it's like, okay, this freestyle thing is cool, but
if I want to go make real money, I got to do this album thing.
Exactly. I have to, you know, go to radio and I have to become, you know, whatever image you have of a famous, successful rapper. I felt this incredible amount of pressure to somehow embody that, you know, rather than, you know, remembering that I should just be myself and do what comes naturally to me. I wasn't quite there yet mentally.
Sure.
So I was struggling with that. And then here comes this Mitsubishi commercial. And so I said, oh, great, this will be my record label advance. You know what I mean?
Sure.
This will be the money that I can sort of live off and use to fund my album and, you know, get producers to work with and make some music videos and things of that nature. So.
And you stopped making content during that time?
I stopped making content. I took a break. I took a break from YouTube for almost a full year.
Ooh.
Yeah. And
you could be irrelevant if you go a year away from your content.
Easily. I mean, now we post, you know, daily on multiple platforms. Yeah, we go hard. Yeah. But at this time, I was like, well, I'm not making money on these YouTube videos anyway because I didn't turn the ads on intentionally because I didn't want to turn people off for the video. So it's funny, but I thought, well, you know, I got to figure out how to pivot and actually make this career happen. And so I lived off the Mitsubishi money for almost a full year, and I used it to sort of fund my album. And then it got to the end of the year, and I was basically out of money, you know. And I looked up, and all of a sudden there's this panic, you know. And I'm saying to my girlfriend, like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to have to go apply to, you know, Trader Joe's down the street or Starbucks. Or, you know, I got to get a job. You know, I'm going to have to get a job soon. And shout out to my girlfriend, and she basically said, you know, that's nonsense. You know, you have an audience and you have this talent, you know, you just have to activate your audience. Like, let's actually figure out what that looks like for you.
Wow.
And so at that point, I said, you know what, you're right. And I said, I'm
Holy
going to
shit.
change my approach and I'm going to actually do YouTube.
So we actually have Harry Mack in our lives because of his girlfriend. Holy shit, that's actually really nice. Imagine she wouldn't be there at this moment. He probably wouldn't. There is a big chance that he wouldn't be doing what he's doing now. Holy shit. So here you can see again how important it is to have like people that support you, and like that when you have something really special and you're good at something that support you. It's insane.
YouTube like a YouTuber. You know, I'm going to learn how to monetize a YouTube channel. I'm going to learn how to do social media in a way where I'm able to build it out as a business, you know. And I started really doing the knowledge and doing the research to understand how that works. And so from that moment on, that's when I sort of rebranded and started calling those man on the street freestyle videos Gorilla Bars. And I sort of came back at that phase after doing the album. The album was not very successful, by the way. It was a big thing for me, and I'm proud of it, and I'm glad that I did it. But it didn't make too much of a splash. And so it was like, okay, let's get back into this YouTube thing. Rebranded the series as Gorilla Bars and started doing the videos monetized with the ads on from the onset. And you know, we made, I think, 6 or 7 episodes. We made 6 episodes, and then the 7th one came out and went super viral on YouTube. And so it was like, yes, I'm
making
back
some money
in the game. Just enough.
So you start
just
making
enough.
money from the ads there a little bit, and then you start going hard on all the platforms, right? Like, 'cause I found you on TikTok. I think earlier this year or something. You started doing TikTok, Instagram, and just kind of creating content for all platforms.
Exactly.
And now you're trying to maximize and monetize wherever you can there, right?
100%. Yeah. It started then. It was me trying to learn how each of these platforms work and what specifically works well for Instagram as opposed to YouTube, Facebook as opposed to TikTok. You know, like what are the sort of idiosyncrasies of all of these platforms and how are people using them to build businesses? And then seeing how I can apply that to what I do. And in the beginning, like at that time, you know, I'm doing every part of it myself essentially, which is a really important phase of the whole journey.
I think so too. I'm in the middle of it pretty much. I have to learn like everything on my own. And I think that this is so important. If, let's say, you get the success and get big and can create your own business and other stuff, and then you get people that help you build your business even more, or overtake some of your stuff that you do, so you can concentrate more on like content or like your craft. But they can always speak to you if they need help. So you are then, you need to know everything, because it's important that you know everything, so you can always talk to the persons that do stuff for you, that they do it in a certain way, or if they need help, you can do stuff, or you can talk about the topic and you know stuff about it. But I think that's really important.
Journey
Right.
that I'm really grateful for. You know, I'm
You're not just outsourcing it right away. You're learning it first so you can understand the language of how these things work.
Yeah.
And then work with other people eventually.
That's what I wanted to say.
And, you know, learning the language of it, but also just out of necessity. Like I couldn't afford to pay somebody else to do it.
Sure.
But it's good. I mean, even if I could have, I think it's better this way, right? And this is, I'm sure you can relate to this. You know, I think pretty much every content creator out there goes through that phase.
Yeah, I spent years broke learning this stuff back in 2009, 10, 11.
Yeah.
And I had no money, so I had to obsess about it all day until I could start hiring people. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I was doing the Gorilla Bars. I was editing them. I'm not an editor, you know. First I was in iMovie and then, you know, and just, I mean, it took me days
to get one little video.
Yeah,
man.
And then, you know, I would spend the whole week. I remember my calendar just had these huge editing blocks. Like basically that was my job. I became an editor because that was the biggest bottleneck kind of to getting the stuff out there. I would pay like freelance videographers to come follow me around while I freestyle for people on the street. And then I would get all the footage and edit it together, create the thumbnail in an app on my phone, come up with the title, do the description, all that stuff, get it out. And then the most challenging part, other than editing the long form, was repurposing,
the short clips.
reformatting.
Oh, man.
Right, it's hard. It's not easy,
Well, now there's so many different tools and apps that can like cut it up so quickly. You're like, you wish you had this 4 years ago. I know, but.
Yeah, it was, and then the platforms would always be changing too. So it's like,
Constantly.
well, IG used to be 1x1, but now it also accepts this larger size, and now there's IGTV, and there were all these different things happening, and each of them sort of required their own format. And
where's IGTV? Is it gone now?
Yeah, I think they phased it out. They phased it out.
It was like the biggest thing.
It was,
and now it's just all reels, right?
Yeah,
isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is crazy.
Overnight, you could have your whole strategy on one thing, and you have to be flexible and adaptable for the next thing.
It's so important. You have to be malleable. You have, and that's always kind of how
you have to improvise, kind of like freestyle.
100%. It's all improv, man. It's all a freestyle. Yeah, because you never know what's going to happen with any of these platforms.
Yeah,
they could get eclipsed by whatever the newest thing is. TikTok is kind of TikTok is influencing all the platforms now.
Right.
Everyone has their vertical kind of constant feed a la TikTok.
And that could evolve in a year.
Exactly.
You never know.
Exactly.
What do you think is the biggest challenge that creatives and artists, musicians have today in making a full-time living with their art?
So the biggest challenge for not known artists to make money out of their craft, I think it's, first of all, let's say it on platforms like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, blah, 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 blah. I think that getting the chance of people that they actually watch your stuff. Because if you are just doing your stuff, most of the people will like swipe away. You have to be interesting in the first 1 to 3 seconds, is my opinion. If you don't get them in the first 1 to 3 seconds, they will not watch the video. And if they don't watch the video or watch the music or whatever, I think it's like, I think that's the biggest issue, that there's so much content that people don't give other people or artists the chance to impress, because no one watches a video for, like, let's say 1 minute, and then there is the actual content that actually matters when you're talking like 1 minute before that. Like, I don't think that this video here gets a lot of views, because first of all, it's 1 hour and 20 minutes long, and second of all, I'm talking a lot, like a lot. And in the first part, it was crazy much. So I don't think that people are interested in long-term content. I think they are more interested in short, hype, like always 150% all the time. Like, they don't want to have like a normal conversation, like pretty much like those two people here, like Harry Mack and Lewis House, have a normal conversation right now, and I'm adding to that pretty much. And I don't think that a lot of people are interested in that. There are some people, definitely. But I think it's more like the 20 plus people, and the younger ones will never ever watch it, because they are so used to fast content on like 150% energy level. And yeah, I think that is a big issue, or one of the hardest issues, to not change yourself just for the benefit of selling yourself. Because I would rather have like low view count, but it's authentic and real and whatever, than go like, of course, I think I know how to get a viral video because I'm in YouTube for a long, long time. I watched YouTube till the beginning of YouTube pretty much, but I watched it. I wasn't a YouTuber myself. But I think that I know how to do a viral video, but I don't want to do it because I would have to change my personality for that in that video. And I don't like that. I hate it. I hate acting different just because of hype. And I don't want that. If people like me, then they like me because I'm me and not because they like the act that I'm putting on here right now. You know what I mean? And yeah, I think that's really hard to balance out nowadays. Maybe it's also impossible because I don't know. I think that's the hardest thing for me personally.
Yeah. I think the biggest challenge, first and foremost, I know for me personally, and probably for a lot of other artists and creatives out there, is overcoming the fear to step up and do it.
Do what?
Be that artist, be that creative. You know, for me, it was the overcoming the fear to be Harry Mack.
Okay. I take it back, what I said. This is the number one fear. But what I said is then the second one of mine. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for me. Yeah, 100. Holy shit, that hurt. That hurt me somehow because it's true. It's just so true. Now I'm here doing reactions all the time, and I love it, and I will do it all the time because I also like doing them. I love doing them. I enjoy it. It's fun. I learn so much new things, and yeah, it's just amazing. But it's not what my art, like what my inner child wanna do. Like my inner child wanna do music, and I have a second channel where I do music, but I don't upload. I never upload there. Never, like almost never. And it's because of the transition into the artist, and that's absolutely true. Holy shit, that kind of hurt. Holy shit.
You know, to be the person at the forefront. You know, I, for so many years, was a drummer. I was a support player. You know, it wasn't my band. It was maybe the
behind the
singer
scenes.
calls me to play
Yeah.
and support their vision. You know, I'm in the background, you know, and I'm doing the best job I can to support them. And that's a beautiful thing to do. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
role to have, to be a support
Yes.
musician, you know, and to help somebody else's vision sort of flourish and do the best you can. But, you know, it was like, tell me when and where and what I'm supposed to wear and how much we're getting paid, and I'll be there, you know. But to be that singer, you know, to say, oh, well, this is my vision, you know, I'm the one that is bringing these people together around my vision. I'm the one making the calls, you know, I'm the one putting my creative voice out and, you know, exposing myself to feedback and exposing myself to criticism and making myself vulnerable, you know, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
And it was for me anyway, you know. For years of my life, I was essentially crippled by fear and unable to fully express my gift, you know, to the world and embrace it for myself and then be able to put it out and use it to connect with other humans, which is what I do now. But I was too scared to do that. And there was a long phase of time, like from when I graduated from college to 2017, when I started making content, where I was just like in my room making beats all day, you know, freestyling, rapping to beats.
To yourself.
To myself.
Yep.
To myself. And never sharing it with anyone. It was never good enough.
Wow.
You know, it was this, for me, a lot of the fear sort of manifests as perfectionism, where it's never ready.
Wow.
And it's never good enough. And
Same for me. I could release right now 2 albums, like 30 to 40 songs. I could. But I won't. Because I think they are not ready. Also, I have to redo them because when I recorded them and all the stuff, I had only this mic and not the Shure SM7B. And also, I'm not good with mixing and all the stuff. It's more like what I hear, and I try to hear it good. But this headset is also not that good for that. But yeah, it's always not good enough. I am always having, like I already just said, I have always some stuff that is not fitting for my personal feeling of, okay, that's right now. It's almost never. And I also could upload probably like 20 to 30 videos that I have on my computer to my music channel where I just freestyle. And I didn't. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's just, I have so much things in my head that I want to do, like movie video, like also I would like to have like an F type music video where I'd have like 3 minutes or 4 minutes of a song, but the actual video goes like 5 to 6 minutes, where I have like a little in front story, then a little bit of fading out back story, and the whole music underpaints the video, or in the opposite way, like the video underpaints the whole story of the music. But that costs so much money. Like, that is so expensive. I cannot do it. And that, I think, is the problem for me or for myself. I want to do like step 40, but I haven't even done step 4. You know what I mean? And I have to overcome it somehow. But I don't know when and how and why, and it's weird.
And, my friends and roommates at the time and people that I lived with would try to talk sense into me.
Like, dude, it's really good. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, put this out. Like, you put so much energy into doing this, but you never share it. There's this concept, I think it's from Ira Glass, called the gap.
Okay.
Are you familiar with this concept?
Maybe, sure.
So the reason that, creatives get into making things is because they have really good taste, So like, they appreciate good art or creativity or good podcasts, whatever it is. They appreciate good media. So we have good taste. And so it inspires you to want to start creating yourself. When you start creating yourself, you realize that what you're capable of making at that time as a beginner doesn't come anywhere near the people that you look up to and admire. In other words, there's this huge gap between your level of taste for creativity and art and what you're actually capable of creating.
Wow.
And that's a really challenging phase because it's very discouraging, and it makes you feel like what you're making is not worthy of being put out or shared. But the secret to the gap is you can't start closing that gap until you share what you're working on and get feedback.
Right.
The only way to actually get from what you're doing now to closer to the people you look up to. For me, the Supernatural, who I mentioned, or Nas, or, whoever I put on that pedestal, these people are like superheroes to me, and always will be, And so to think, well, I'm way down here as Harry Mack, like, what's the point of me sharing this? But the only way I can start to climb is to share my work and get real feedback from real human beings.
Yeah, if you just did it in your bedroom every day and no one ever saw it, then you'd never get closer to where you want to be.
Yeah. And I've met so many musicians who have hard drives full of incredible work that nobody's heard. And suddenly I'm playing that role. So much easier to give advice to other people
once you've done it,
than to take it for yourself, right? So
Sure.
I'm saying, what are you doing? Like, if I had this,
right.
There's that whole thing too. If I had this hard drive, I'd be putting it out.
Which all your friends probably told you, man, if I could freestyle like that,
Exactly.
I'd be doing this at every gig, anywhere I go.
Exactly. And it's so easy to say, right? Because you don't have to actually face the consequences of doing that, which is, you're, again,
Potential
exposing yourself
embarrassment
to
or failure or humiliation or no
100%.
one laughing or no one clapping or whatever. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. And that thought is so terrifying. So I think that is the biggest challenge for creatives, especially because, and the second biggest challenge after facing our fear, but they're very closely related, is the challenge of having to do it all yourself.
It's a lot, man. The weight
Yeah.
can be a lot.
Yeah, and we talk about, obviously the whole thing with the traditional path of the record label, you know, being very limiting for most people. But that being said, if you did get signed to a good record deal,
They do all the work.
yeah,
A lot of the work.
yeah, there's a whole, you have to be a good musician, right, or a good songwriter or whatever it is you
And they
do.
produce and promote and
Yeah.
package and all those things.
They put you on the billboard. They distribute it all around the world. You know, they
Get
choose
you on
how
the
to market
radio.
it.
They do all this stuff.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
tell you where to show up and just do your talent.
Exactly. And
So here's another thing, right? Why I paused before that pause. I was thinking of, man, this hurts again so hard. It's so directly in my face. And should I just put them out and fuck it? Like, who cares? Just put it out. Maybe some people like it. Like, there are some songs, like, that I haven't put out yet. But my father is listening to them. Like, they are so bad quality, but my father is listening to them because he thinks that's just amazing music. Maybe people like it. I don't know. But here's the other thing why I then kept on not saying anything and let it roll. I cannot provide. I cannot put them out right now because most of the time those beats are not bought yet. Right? I bought some already because some of the Twitch users donated some money, but that were like 2 songs. And beats are so expensive. You don't understand how expensive they are. The beats are expensive. If you have to buy a full album of beats, I'm like $2,000, $3,000. It's insane. Probably more. I don't even know the exact number right now. It's a lot of money that you have to save up first to buy the beats. And then it's only the beat. You have to write the whole song and all the stuff. You have to make thumbnails, photos, videos, and all the stuff. It's so much work, which is okay for me, but the money is an issue. The money is an issue. The money is a real big issue. Like, insane. That's the biggest. I think that this is the biggest problem for me to put out music. It's to buy the beats because I'm not in a position where I can build beats. I cannot do it. I'm just a rapper. That's it. But I don't understand how to. I had to learn it for multiple years then, and when I'm ready to put out my music, I'm 45 or so. That's I don't know. It's weird. So yeah. So I have to buy beats or whatever, right? Yeah, I think I know that this is the most hard thing for me right now because it's the money for the beats, and after that comes the thing that what Harry Mack said, to be this artist and to overcome the fear of releasing stuff that maybe isn't that good, or is not perfect, and then the other stuff that I said before. Yeah, holy shit. That's an eye opener here right now.
So I'm, that's not a walk in the park either, but I do think that it's very intimidating to recognize that it's both intimidating and empowering, right?
Yes.
It's like we have all the tools available, and that's incredible. We can do it ourselves without needing permission from anyone. It's amazing, and I've seen what it can do firsthand, and I'm so grateful for these tools and for this ability to do it myself. But not every part of the job is fun.
No.
And there were times when I'm up at 4 a.m. editing this video for the 5th day in a row, like trying to drag the little cursor in iMovie. Shout out to all the video editors out there. I have no idea how they do that. But there's times where you feel
you
like
put a video out and it doesn't deliver, and you're like, man, I spent a week on this, and no one, I got 100 views, and I made nothing on it.
Before I made this channel and before my music channel turned into a music channel, it was a Rocket League channel, right? I made Rocket League videos, tutorials and all that stuff. And my tutorial actually was good. Like it had a lot of views, like 28,000 or so. It was nice, like really nice. And it also was German only. So I limited myself with the language barrier. But there are videos where I made montages, like compilations of really nice shots, and I made like a whole movie out of it. If you want to see it, I can react to it someday on a stream or so. And I worked so hard on them. There is one video. That one video, it's called "This is Rocket League" montage. I think it's called. Let's look it up real quick. It could be that I also put it down. Yeah, I think I put it down. Pretty sure I put it. I will edit this all stuff out. So yeah, let's see. So here's the video. I just put it back online, okay? So here's another one. Changes. This is the Rocket League cinematic montage. 461 views. 2 years ago. I worked so hard on this edit. I worked so hard. I worked like, I think it was more than 200 hours of work into a 4-minute video because I had to learn so much. And also the thumbnail and all the stuff. It took me so long, like so long. And it was so much work. And I got like 50 views in the first week or so. And I was so sad, like so freaking sad. And yeah, I don't know. It was this thing where I was like, so fuck it, I will stop it. And this is actually the reason I stopped doing Rocket League videos. I stopped. I had put so much work into it, and it was like no one even clicked on it. Fuck you. But yeah. And then I had a video which took me like 20 hours of work, like the tutorial for Rocket League. And it got like 28K. Like, what the fuck? Or like, I reacted to a video which took me like 2 hours or 3 with all the stuff, thumbnail, uploading, description, cutting, and all the stuff. And it gets like 50K views. Like, that's so weird, right? I can get way more views and money and whatever with less work. It's so weird. I don't understand it. It's also with the with this video. Life is Beautiful. 138 views after 2 weeks. It's totally fine. I don't made this for views, but on this video, I worked really hard. I worked like 40 hours or so on this video because it was a video for me. That's why it's okay. That's not having so much views, but it is a video that I made for myself to motivate myself. But had I done it to put out content that is good, like in my opinion, well edited and all the stuff, and has a nice message and all the stuff, and there was a lot of work into it, I would be so fucked up because it has no views. Like, no views. No one is interested in a video that I think the video is like 3 minutes long. So yeah.
On it.
Right.
And if that happens week after week, you start to feel a little discouraged.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You do. So I think overcoming the fear and then embracing sort of the responsibility that comes along with sort of doing it yourself, those are some of the biggest challenges we face. And also what you alluded to just now, learning how to not take feedback personally.
Yeah, it's huge, man.
Is so
That is hard. I haven't accomplished that yet. I get a lot of feedback, actually. Not always on YouTube. A lot of time on YouTube comments, but sometimes also on Instagram and all this stuff. And there are also people like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? You're only doing this for views. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. Bro, if you don't want to watch the video and I don't like what I'm doing, don't watch the video. What is the problem? I don't get it. But, I am always saying my honest opinion. And if I, let's say, don't like a musical group, like, not particular, I don't like the group, or maybe that one song is just not that I vibe with it, then I will say it. What's your problem? So, if I'm listening to Rammstein and you are always listening to, let's say, pop, you will probably not like Rammstein songs. It's just a taste of music. What's your problem? Why people want to change my opinion or my taste in some stuff? And if I don't agree, I get they say stuff like "fuck you." The hardest thing that someone ever said to me was, "Good that your mother died. I hope she had a really bad time." Or I can't remember the exact words, but it was something like, "Good thing that your mother died." I'm missing the one word. I hope she's fine now with. I think she's fine now because with a son like you, it's probably more painful than cancer or something like that. And that was like, holy shit, bro. Who was shitting in your food? What the fuck is your problem? Sometimes that's really hard, I think. I mean, that was an extreme example, but there are people like, go fuck yourself and all this stuff. You're like, shit, what? Who cares about your opinion? Like,
so important, and it's an ongoing journey for all of us, I think.
Yeah,
and
especially probably once you start to gain success too.
Yeah.
And you start to build awareness and attention. You know, you have an ego you still have to manage.
Yes.
Once you're successful or more successful than where you were.
Yeah.
And to get the feeling of rejection or no one cared
Yeah.
with this video or live when I performed, that still doesn't feel good.
No.
So learning how to not take it personally is a superpower.
Yeah.
For so many people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of it comes down to, really embracing the process and being in love with the process of creating, and not so focused on the end result. You know,
it's so hard for people.
It's so difficult, and it's challenging for me at times. And I still, I've been doing this for a little while now, but I still, I might read through the comments and read 20 positive comments, and then there's just one negative comment, and for whatever reason it sticks with me more than the positive, right?
Yeah.
So I think it has to do with sort of if you're gonna take all that positivity.
I have to say that most of you are really kind, but the negative ones are standing out so hard, and I don't know why. It doesn't make sense.
So deeply to heart, then the danger of that is you're also going to take that negativity deeply to heart. So I think part of it has to do with, kind of tunnel vision on what your gift is and what your mission is. And if you can focus on that and sort of keep your nose to the grindstone and keep creating what you're meant to create,
right,
without being distracted by the noise,
That's
it can be helpful. Yeah.
What's been one of the lowest moments for you in the last 8, 10 years of doing this journey?
That is a great question. Lowest moment in the 8 to 10 years of doing this journey. I don't know if there's one moment in particular that I can pinpoint, But I do know that in the years prior to when I started making content, 2014, 2015, 2016, when I was out of college with this jazz drumming degree, in debt, I took a student loan to get a jazz drumming degree.
Yeah, it's hard to pay that off.
That's not the smartest move necessarily in hindsight, but that's what I did. That was my reality. And I was struggling, I was barely making it, and there were times that there were times where as much as I didn't want to, I was, calling my dad, asking if I can borrow $100 or whatever to close the gap, between, and my parents are comfortable, but we're not rich or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And beyond that, it's just you want to be your own person at that phase, but I was barely making it. And, at that time, like, I was not fulfilled. I was not happy, if I'm being honest. I really was struggling personally. And I was struggling as well with sort of, I was sort of abusing vices and things of that nature. I was drinking a lot at that time, which is a habit that had been ongoing for me for a while, and it wasn't a good place for me to be,
Right.
Just in general during that phase. I didn't feel like myself. I didn't feel excited on a daily basis. I didn't feel creative. And I felt stuck. And I think really all of that can kind of be summarized as the fear and insecurity that I was kind of grappling with. That's really what that was. At that phase, I was too insecure and afraid to sort of step into being Harry Mack, or being my full creative self. I wasn't giving myself permission to, lean into hip hop and lean into freestyling and lean into my gift, and so I was creating all these limitations on myself. There was this feeling that I can't do that,
Right.
I'm stuck here. And so it really took my friend, honestly, it took my friend Jacob asking me to help him with that video
Really?
at the end of 2016. Shout out to Jacob, because I really feel like if he hadn't have done that, I don't know when I would have, like, on my own accord said, yeah, you know what, it's enough of this. I need to break out of this and start sharing my gift.
So it was kind of that push that helped you see the light.
Yeah. Wow. And it was a push kind of disguised. Like, I didn't know that he was pushing me in that way at the time. I was just doing a favor for him as a friend. Like, sure, I'll freestyle on your beat, man. If this is going to help you, yeah, I'll do that.
Right.
That sounds great. Let's do it.
Wow.
And then, of course, ironically, it was kind of like, we get this 100K views overnight, and it's almost like he's smiling back at me like, here you go, my friend.
Now's
like,
the time.
Take it and run with it.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm so grateful. I'm grateful to him, and in general, I'm grateful that I had people around me who were telling me, put this out, like, do this, do this freestyle thing. It's so special, when you do it. There's no reason to keep it hidden from people, and so yeah, I mean. It was big, man. It was big to start doing that. I'm glad that I was able to shake out of that other kind of space.
I'm glad you did too, man. You're inspiring a lot of people.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So many cool things I could take this, but I want people to follow you and really tap into your message and your art and your craft. You're Harry Mack everywhere on social media, Harry Mack Official on Twitter.
Yes.
And if they want to watch you live on tour in Europe, harrymackofficial.com/shows.
Yes.
But just get on your newsletters to see whenever you're doing live stuff. And if you're ever in Venice, I guess. What do? Do you go in the streets in LA sometimes still?
Recently we've been sort of going to other places outside of LA to mix up the scenery a little bit.
Sure.
So when we're on tour, we'll shoot guerrilla bars when we're in new locations.
That's cool.
Yeah, we toured in the U.S. earlier this year, so we have guerrilla bars all around the U.S., Chicago.
It's fun, man.
Yeah.
But just to get signed up for your newsletter, they'll be able to see when you're doing live stuff or anything else online. Check you out on YouTube if you guys want to be a part of you do a live every two times a month.
Yeah. Wordplay Wednesday every other week on YouTube. So tap in for that.
To watch you live, interactive online, which is a lot of fun. So make sure to check you out there. How else can we be supportive and of service to you?
Man. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me on this show. I'm a huge fan of this show.
Thank
huge
you,
fan of yours. So it's already a huge gift that you've given me just to be able to be here and talk with you. Other than that, man, just I encourage people to check us out on Fridays at 9 a.m. We drop our long form video on YouTube. But really just, if the videos move you, it's such a joy for me to be able to lift people up with freestyles. I've come to realize more and more over the years that, I used to want to be the best freestyler in the world. That was like, I wanted to do that so that I could like write that down somewhere, right? Like I'm the best freestyler in the world to serve my own ego. But what I've learned through doing this is that this is a way to connect with other people and to allow other people to be seen and heard, especially when other people are giving me words or giving me their stories and they're coming out in a freestyle. It's amazing what effect that has on people. And I feel so lucky to have been able to be a part of that and see that so often where people's faces will go from hard and stiff to just smiling bright and this like childlike laughter.
Yes.
And that's the dopest thing to me.
Yeah,
That's the best part of my job.
I always love it when I watch his gorilla bars or something like that, or I hear bargaining with bows the last times. Whenever there are some dudes that are just like, and then Harry Mack does something about this person, and then this person goes from to, you know what I mean? It is just so nice to watch.
I remember when we first went back out there to do a gorilla bars after I took the time off, the guy who was filming it said to me at the end of it, he was like, dude, that was an awesome day. We made so many people smile. And I just thought like, yeah, bro, that's right. Like that is awesome. Like, as simple as that sounds. And, there have been times where, so I'm going off on a tangent now, but I just want to say, the level of emotional connection that can occur through improvised freestyling I've been surprised by it at times throughout my career. There was a time during COVID, on Omegle, which is a platform I use to freestyle for strangers, where I connected with a guy and we did a fun freestyle. He gave me a few random words, Batman and I think he said dark streets and whatever else it was. And I did a regular freestyle and he enjoyed it and smiled and laughed. And he was like, oh man, before you go, can you do one for this person? And
we saw that. We know it. I forgot his name, but I have subscribed to him. Yeah, I forgot.
He grabbed a sheet of paper and held it up, and it was the pamphlet from a memorial service for his fiance who died of COVID, like a month before I'm speaking with him.
His fiance died.
His fiance died of COVID.
Oh man!
And he holds up this paper, and he's like, can you do a song for her?
Oh my gosh!
And I was so, taken aback, and I said, man, can you tell me a few things about her? And he said, we loved going on road trips, and he gave me a couple other, pieces of information. And I was...
Can we just say how amazing it is that he remembers all those details after this long? He's just, that is just connecting to me in a different way now. I really like that. That is so human that he, like a lot of people that get famous would forget that, I think.
In the moment, like to be completely honest, I was somewhat intimidated by the task at hand because I wanted to do something, special.
Yeah, honoring.
Yeah. And but I felt like it was really important for me to do this and to do the best job that I possibly could. And so I did a freestyle sort of in honor of his, late fiance. And at the end of it, he's crying.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, we don't have to use this for the content. Obviously, you can just have this if you want, or, and he said, no, I want you to put this out. People should see this.
Oh my gosh.
And it was one of the most like powerful pieces of content we've ever made.
Oh.
And so for me, like, that's what this is about, What I do, it's not about me being the best freestyler in the world so that I can win some award or feel somehow superior because I did that. You know, even if someone does consider me the best, it's subjective and it doesn't last forever. And there's some 12-year-old now who's working on their freestyles that's going to be so insane when I'm sitting on the front porch in my rocking chair. I'm going to say, this guy,
he's good.
That's impossible. You know what I mean? These things are fleeting, but for me, it's more about like I want to give this gift of hopefully being able to lift people up and allow people's stories to be heard, allow people to feel seen, allow people to be a part of something, you know, and to engage in that sort of connection. So to answer your question, how can people support and help me? If you enjoy or smile while you're watching any of the content, that alone is huge for me. That gives me a strong sense of purpose, and I'm happy to be able to put that smile on your face. So.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
Well, Harry, I want to acknowledge you. I've got a couple final questions before I ask them. I want to acknowledge you for having the courage to share your gift. You know, to having the courage to transition from doing something that you think you were supposed to do, which was follow this one path, and say, okay, this isn't working for me anymore. There's something inside of me that feels like it needs to come out, and having the trust to take the leap. You know, even when you were in a darker place, I really acknowledge you. Also for your mindset around your craft, because I think a lot of people are doing their craft for fame or money, which is a byproduct of you being talented. But to hear you say you want to bring joy to people and create connection and vulnerability and intimacy and let people be seen, I think it's an incredible gift of you as an artist, man. So I really acknowledge your heart for that intention, because I think that will take you so much farther and longer than just trying to be famous and make a lot of money and be the best.
Right. Oh, I appreciate it, man. Thank you, Louis. Appreciate that.
This is a question I ask everyone towards the end called the 3 truths question.
Yes.
So, hypothetical scenario.
I want to answer them too.
Imagine it's your last day on earth many years away from now.
Yes.
You live as long as you want. You get to accomplish everything. You change millions of lives through your craft or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, no one has access to your message anymore. All your content is gone.
Right.
Hypothetical.
Right.
All your work. But you get to leave behind 3 lessons to the world. 3 things you know to be true that you want others to know about.
Yeah.
And this is all we have to remember you by. What would be those 3 truths?
Holy shit. Okay. So if there are 3 things that I can say and they would stay forever, and that's what would be remembered of me pretty much, is the first thing I would say is make yourself happy. I have to reframe that. Only if you are happy on your own, you can be happy with someone else. The second one would be stay true to yourself. And the third one would be I think the third one would be something like oh, that's a hard question. Holy shit, I really don't know. I think the third one would be something like how do I say it? That is a really hard question. Holy shit. Live your life the way you want to live it and not what people think the life should be like. Yeah. The third one is kind of weak, but it's true, but it's kind of weak. But the first and second one is something that I stand behind.
I love this. Okay, my 3 truths. I think the first one would be don't neglect your inner child.
Ooh, yeah.
Don't neglect your inner child. Feed your inner child. Nurture your inner child, because I think...
Fuck me, I should have said that. Because I'm also... yeah, I am a child in me. The child in me is alive. Like, I love it. I also have a song on this channel which is called Kind sein, and it's a song about your inner child, pretty much.
You know, I my first rap recording was made when I was 12 years old with my friend Brady for our group State of Mind, and I'm really grateful that I still have access to those recordings, and I listen to them from time to time, and it's just amazing to hear. You know, it's not good by any objective standard, but there's so much potential in it, and more importantly than that, there's just this unique creativity that exists because we were only 12 years old, and we hadn't yet been so morphed and sort of changed and sort of influenced by all of these voices like we talked about before from society or from parents or teachers. You know, these limiting ideas were much less prevalent in our minds at that time. And so I think it's a really special thing to be a child and to have this sort of childlike curiosity and creativity and just this sort of freedom that comes with not being so judgmental of yourself. And I think certainly to be able to freestyle and improvise, you have to tap into your inner child.
Yeah.
So that would be one, is don't, you know, especially now in this modern society, don't let that inner child get stifled. It can be hard to access it, right, as adults, because we have a lot of responsibilities and again, we have all this sort of influence from external forces. But tap in with your inner child. That's number one. Number two would be commit to being a lifelong learner.
Oh, that's good.
Never stop learning. You know, I think for me, I'm always trying to learn new things, and I think I'm so grateful to have music, because music is it's infinite. You know, it's not the type of thing you check it off your list and say, cool, I did that, what's next?
Sure.
You know, it's unlimited. The potential is unlimited. And so I think having the humility to say, no matter how much I think I know about music or anything, about life, you know, no matter how much I think I know right now, there's so much more that I don't know.
Right.
You know, and that will always be true.
Sure.
And sometimes you learn so much, and then what you forgot is what you knew when you were 12.
right.
You know what I mean? So it's so there's always more to learn, and I think if you have that mindset of being a lifelong learner and never sort of becoming complacent, it will take you really, really far. So that's number two. And then number three, I would say it's okay to be afraid, but don't let that fear stop you from sharing your unique gift with the world. Because that's what, you know, that's what's going to help make the world a better place if you share that gift.
Sick.
Okay, I've got one final question, but I want to throw a curveball and see if you could do a recap freestyle and answer the question
Okay.
in it somewhere.
Oh, dope. I love it.
So the final question is, what's your definition of greatness?
Yes.
So if you can define greatness somehow
Yes.
within a recap of...
The definition of greatness. For me, it's probably, no matter the conditions around you, to always stay who you are. Like, don't change just because everything around you changes. Like, stay true to yourself. I mean that pretty much. Just, you know what I mean? Yeah. No matter what, even if you are no one, if you are nobody that nobody knows, or even if you are like in Ariana Grande, if you are always the same, I think that's greatness for me, because I think it's hard to stay who you are when you have so much change in your life. I think that is a sign of real greatness.
What opened up for you during this interview for you,
This is
of what
amazing.
you experienced, of what, you know, you shared as a recap, and,
Absolutely.
and add the definition for you of greatness.
I love it. I love it. Let's do it. Let me just pull my phone out to get a beat
Yeah.
here. Let's see.
Opening and
This is
ending with the
perfect right here.
freestyle. Nice. I like that. Full circle.
Yeah. Oh,
That is one thing I have never understood. Why are freestyle or why are rappers doing that? I also do that. I don't even know why I do that. Like, yeah, I think it's because you get in the rhythm then. But I don't know. But I also do it.
okay. Yeah. Come on. Listen. Yeah. Yeah. Check. Check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Come on. Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. 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 Hey, yo, my truth, I'm about to state this. My experience, I will relate this. I'm talking about my definition of greatness. I'm breaking down my definition of greatness. Hey, yo, my truth, I'll be ready to state this. My own life experience, I'll try to relate this. I'm breaking down my definition of greatness. Check. I'm breaking down my definition of greatness. Yeah. 1, 2, off at the top. Gripping on the mic, Mack, go let it rock. Y'all know I wanna grab the mic and go wild, but I can't do it unless I find my inner child. I remember all of the freedoms and the liberties when I had that young creativity. Yeah, it's kind of tricky to define the mind of a child when it's unrefined. The ability to go anywhere on the path, not overcome by the science and the math of adult living. Hey yo, it's real, not fiction. I wasn't hit with all the adult restrictions. Wasn't hearing voices in my ear telling me that I should chill, I should have fear. Wasn't feeling doubt when I looked up in the mirror. I just closed my eyes, dreamed it, manifested, and it appears. Yeah, that inner child, I'm about to nurture it. And if it's been too long since I've heard from it, put a beat on so I can get free, so I can finally manifest that inner child in me. Yeah, thinking back to 6th grade with my homie Brady. The first State of Mind CD, it went crazy. Prepubescent rap sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks. Yo, it's MC Wonder on the mic, I'll never get punked. Back when I was young, before my voice dropped, I'm trying to make sure that has a special spot. All up in my heart, homie, all up in my soul. I gotta let loose and let go of the control. Yo, rule 2, y'all know my soul's burning. I must make a commitment to lifelong learning. Yeah, there's always more stones to turn over. There's always more time for me as a flower to turn into a grower, the improviser, the one that gets better with time and more clever with rhymes. Through years, I stay committed and always gain more knowledge and never sit back and feel like I'm most polished. It's not about my ego, it's about where I can take it. And gaining information from me is truly sacred. And when I kick a rhyme, it's like my soul is standing naked. I gotta keep it honest with my fans, I can't fake it. That's why late at night, my brain gets shook from all the wild information that I gain from books. I stay reading all the time, blowing my mind with every line and teaching me new places to climb. And this is real right here, this part is not fake. Some of the best lessons I've learned were gained through mistakes. So many times in my past, I thought I had the answers, but really, there's more questions inside of my stanzas. Really, I'm not the professor teaching y'all how to do this, cause on the daily, man, I feel like a student. It's important for me to grow from mistakes when I stumble. It's important for me to stay low and remain humble. I got this self.
He is in the zone. Like, I think the last 1 minute, he is fully in the zone. He's fully in the zone. I love it. I think you all can agree with that. When he started, he went into it, and it wasn't so polished yet. But now he's fully in it, and I love this state when he's in it, and also when I am in it. I love it.
Professor teaching y'all how to do this, cause on the daily, man,
I would prefer being in the zone. I would say being in the zone while I freestyle is more beautiful for me, or more nice, or whatever you call it, than having sex. I love it. It's the best feeling in the world.
feel like a student. It's important for me to grow.
Because I think you have the opportunity to do everything you want in this moment. It's like you have access to the universe. I cannot really explain it. It's just the best feeling in the world.
From mistakes when I stumble, it's important for me to stay low and remain humble. I got this self-love and it comes
Because you know when you are in the zone, you will not fail. You will, whatever you are doing now, you will do it. And it will be insane.
when I stumble. It's important for me to stay low and remain humble. I got this self-love and it comes from my heart. And I know I have a gift and I share it in my art. But I never think I'm the most talented, most smart, cause I know I'm just one human that's doing their part. It's about the whole, it's about the collective, that's for my soul. And finding new places where Mack is about to go. So we about to take it there, I make it real. Y'all know I'm here to spit. I gotta go and share my gift. And this last message here, I wanna make this clear. I can't ever be held down by my fears. I've been through that. I had to wait to see my style evolve. I was tripping in a dark place with alcohol and other habits and vices that used to hold me down. That made me feel like a king missing the golden crown. I knew there was a gap I had to close, but I was too scared to go and share my flows. Shouts to my homie Jacob, who threw me in the car. Sunset Boulevard, spewed a couple bars, 100K views, later went viral, no monetization, but still sharing all my creations. I had to get the bag, then lose the bag, then go back to applying for jobs. What a drag. Then got a little piece of inspo from the love of my life who told me, Mack, get back on the mic. Start the YouTube channel with the ads turned on. Clipped it up for social media, the flow's more strong. And slowly but surely, it's crazy when you witness we be expanding and building out a business. Who'd have thought nowadays we taking over? I kick clear rhymes, now I stay sober. To each they own, but I'm in my zone. And I'm all by myself, I am not no clone. I'm here with Lewis House on the School of Greatness. We all about the real, never kicking no fakeness. Y'all know I got the rhymes that'll leave them shook. It's H Mack off the brain, never written in books. Let's go.
That was epic, man. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, man.
Incredible, man. Wow.
Thank you.
To choose yourself to do self-work.
Holy shit, I really enjoyed that. That was so fun. I already liked it before because I wanted to save it like that. Holy shit, I really liked that. That was just, that was so inspiring. I can't write. Inspiring. Fuck it. Ah, that was so nice. So yeah, holy shit, I really enjoyed that. almost 3 hours. I think I will not cut that because I don't know where I should cut it. So I will just upload it as one video. And yeah, I hope you liked the video, the movie, the Lord of the Rings movie from the lens. And yeah, see you in the next video and peace. Bye.